at $100, and then it went up to 2 and went back to 1, right? So let's call this 1K. This is not to scale, and this is 2K. You know, this is still a 10x return from this point. And what I'm trying to say here is that we're now sitting at this level, right? This is the level we're at in the hobby. Okay, and your entry point means everything. So if you were here and you were speculating on this as a long-term investment or opportunity, like not many people in the hobby did, only a select few, and let's call it 2016 or whatever, and now we're in, this was like late 2020, and now we're in, what are we in, May of 21. If you entered here, your cost basis is quite low, and you've done very well from yourself, even with this severe retrace, right? You could have sold here if you got lucky, but you can never time the market. All this to be said is your entry point matters. So we don't know what's going to happen from this point, right? The market could rebound, and this, slowly over time could head this way. Could just stay flat forever, or it could just continue to fall, or fall like a knife and the bubble pops, right? So I think the most important thing to realize when it comes to this hobby, and the point I want to get across more than anything, if you take away one thing from this video, it is that any money you put into Pokemon, you need to be willing to lose it all. This is a highly speculative asset class. It is an alternative to traditional financial markets. And with that comes high levels of illiquidity, high risk, and above and beyond everything else, just a large amount of opaqueness, right? No one has any idea the ebbs and flows of nostalgia and brands and intellectual property. I mean, what if, the Pokemon company makes a misstep with something from a public relations standpoint, and people just have it completely fall out of favor in the modern market, and Pokemon starts to just kind of, go away. That's a huge risk here. So I think that it all comes down to you understanding that your entry point is everything. Be willing for it to go to zero, and that you need to understand that this is high risk, and that at the end of the day, you need to be okay, just like me, that if this card only ends up being worth the 50 cents of plastic and the half-cent piece of cardboard, that you're still going to be happy. So that's my first Market Monday, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that this will help you make better informed decisions when it comes to your hobby collecting, and we'll see you next Monday.
Well, hello, you guys. How are you? Yes, I went there. Clippers. I went there. Hope everyone's doing well. Before I start the stream, I want to say thank you to Jessica from Geeked Out Collecting for hooking me up with Rock Pokemon. Thank you so much. I could have not done a lot of things without you, and thank you for being such a great friend for helping me out, you guys. I'm so excited to actually introduce Connor, but that's okay. The floor is going to be all his very soon, and hope you guys are doing well. I'm so excited, and I'm actually going to step out and let Connor, that the floor is going to be his.
Hey, guys. How's it
Hey, Connor.
going?
Tell us about yourself real quick.
Sure. So my name's Connor. You guys can find me online, YouTube, Instagram, Rock Pokemon. ROC is for Rochester. It's in upstate New York. The real upstate, pretty close to Canada. So I'm about 6 hours from New York City. Born and raised here, moved away for school and work, made my way back. Work in the financial services industry, and am a longtime collector of Pokemon, sports, things around anime and other IP like that. You kind of see some of those things in the background probably. So really, really blessed and happy to be here. Thanks, Jess, for connecting me with PokeGal. Super, super pumped to be part of this community. And yeah, that's me. So just a small time collector who loves the hobby and hopes I can help some people make some better educated decisions when it comes to buying or quote unquote investing in collectibles.
Gotcha. And I'm sure you're well aware of the stream. I always ask almost the same question. So pick a starter: Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle.
So curveball, I was a Pokemon Yellow kid, so I picked Pikachu. But if I was forced to pick one of these three, it would be Bulbasaur for sure.
Oh,
Largely a function
wow.
of Venusaur being my favorite. Which I
Ooh.
think Travis last week, he was the same way. He liked Venusaur,
Yeah,
but yeah, Venusaur. Like if
good.
I had to have one pack art of
Mhm.
a base set booster, it'd be Venusaur. So Bulbasaur,
Gotcha. Favorite first generation Pokemon?
Gyarados, hundred
Very
percent.
nice. Very nice. This one, because you posted and you tagged me, I'm interested. Favorite waifu?
Oh man, I'm looking down at them. Oh man, I feel like I have to go with Misty just because I'm like a Gen
Nice.
1 OG
Mhm.
anime freak. So yeah, definitely Misty.
Gotcha. Last card you sent for grading for yourself.
For myself. So I just sent
Mhm.
about 15 or 20 cards to CGC. My friend Ryan, OG Retro, lives in Ithaca,
Mhm.
New York. He
Mhm.
gave me a Japanese jungle electrode, which had a
Nice.
like really nice swirl, really good condition cards, probably somewhere in that 8.5 to 9 range. So I just sent that in. That'll stay in my collection forever for sure.
Nice. Favorite overall Pokemon moment?
Um, That's tough. So I've done a lot of cool things around this hobby. Recently, when I hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, I did a live opening of a Japanese gym challenge pack. But then off camera, just for myself, I opened another pack and I pulled a Blaine's Charizard, a couple banned cards, and some secret rare cards. And that was just like it like took me back to being a kid, like on the floor in my grandma's house opening Team Rocket packs. So that was like super full circle special for me.
Gotcha. Do you play any of the Pokemon games?
So I actually just bought a Switch Lite.
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
haven't owned a system since I had an N64 in college. And so I've been playing Let's Go Pikachu just because it's basically a throwback to Pokemon Yellow. And then I'm really excited for the Arceus game, the like open world game they're coming out with next year. So, and then on my phone, I have an
Mhm.
emulator so I can always play Pokemon Yellow whenever I want, which is pretty
That
sweet.
is so cool. What
Yeah,
other
it's
trading
fun.
cards that you play or collect?
So I have all my Harry Potter cards from childhood, the base set cards. So I've been working out filling on the rest of the binder of that.
Mhm.
Um, I love a couple of the different Weiss Schwartz cards because I love anime. So a couple of those IPs like Sword Art Online, Gun Gale Online, stuff like that. I just pre-ordered Seven Deadly Sins, which is a newer anime, is doing booster boxes with Weiss Schwartz. And then sports have collected sports seemingly since I came out of the womb. I mean, I've got so much of it. So, but I don't play any of the games. I would like to learn to play Pokemon. I just haven't put in the time yet, but it seems
Oh,
super fun.
likewise. Likewise, I don't even know how to play. Okay, well,
I know.
because you mentioned the Raptors, I'm going to ask you this, and they will not attack you, I promise. Who is going to win the NBA championship? And I'm going to hop back in with my
Oh,
Clipper shirt.
oh boy. Oh boy. Um, Gosh, that's really tough. I think uh, oh God. I mean, the Clippers have a shot. The Clippers have a shot. I haven't been watching very closely lately.
Uh-huh.
So to be honest, I don't even know who all is still in.
You
But
can say the Clippers. That's okay. You can
I'll
say
say
the
the
Clippers.
Clippers. We'll go with the Clippers.
That's
Only
it.
because I
You
love
guys hear
Kawhi. He should have never
that's
left
it. Done. That's
though.
it. You guys heard
They're
it
gonna
first.
flame me so bad.
Clippers. Okay. They trolled me left and
Oh,
right.
it's so
Okay.
funny.
And I'm
So
gonna
funny.
I'm gonna say this, you guys. I do not guarantee anything in the stream. Okay. But I'm gonna say this because I posted a lot of things on my Facebook, and Hefe here likes to troll me. Okay. But I'm gonna say this. Clippers in 7. Guaranteed.
Oh, guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
What happens if they
Guaranteed.
don't?
They control me, but it's not gonna happen. I did 2 guarantees, right? Ask Hefe. Was I right? And Scott, was I right in all of them?
Oh,
Yes, I was. Clippers in 7. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Looks like Scott has the Bucks.
Oh,
Familiar
whatever,
with the
Scott.
Bucks. Oh,
Guaranteed. But I'm going to do my quick shout out. Hey, Jessica, there's my mod. Holly, how are you? You guys, I have an amazing show and a giveaway at the end. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I want you guys. Hefe, there he is. There's my mod. There's Jessica. How are you guys? Scott. Okay, let me go here. Oh yeah, I am back. Guess who's back? Back again. PokeGal's back. Tell a friend. DNA. Any resident card. Okay, you guys. So I just want to do before on my Hawks. He used the S word. What S word? What S word?
What S word?
What S word? Guaranteed.
I heard guaranteed.
I guaranteed they're going to win game 7. But I wanted to say, due to my background and Connor's background, I do want to do a disclaimer that we are not giving out financial advice and legal advice. Just want to let you guys know about that. Let me know. I forgot to ask you if you feel comfortable disclosing what you do. If you don't, we're gonna stop from there. So let me know.
Yeah, sure.
Here.
So
okay.
Yeah, again, nothing that we say should be misconstrued as financial advice. I work in the wealth management industry, so I work with individuals to do their estate planning, insurance, investing, taxes, all those things. We basically quarterback the entire financial ecosystem for largely like ultra wealthy families. And then I have some athlete celebrity clients too, which is kind of fun. So that's what I do. So planning, investing, all that stuff. So
a certified financial planner, you guys. So this is certified, okay? Not somebody that's just on YouTube getting financial advice. This is a certified financial planner, which I do plan to
with
take.
No financial advice, though.
Well,
no financial
exactly.
Advice.
This is just entertainment.
It's just cardboard.
Only. And then Mr. Locknet, yes, I am back. I'm pretty. Hey, how are ya, DNA? Well, we got a first question, you guys. I do want to talk about, I think the reason why I show that video, because I do want to talk about the entry point and how Pokemon cards, you can liquidate Pokemon cards. We're going to talk all about that. Those are verbiage that we want to talk about. I understand that, but I'm pretty sure I wanted to make sure the people that watch our show understand that as well. And we'll see where we go and what we think, or maybe perhaps what you think, if Pokemon is probably one of, without giving financial advice, right? If Pokemon is something we should, or anybody should perhaps spend a little bit more money on or less money on. We'll go from there. There's Jessica, you guys, Geeked Out Collecting. Thank you so much. So we have a first question, and then I have, you guys give me so credit. No problem. Oh, okay. Let me go here. Any of you to the Resident Evil playing card game? He meant probably any of you play the Resident Evil card game. I do not.
No, is it a Weiss Schwarz IP or is it its own thing? Some games like what is it? I think My Hero Academia, like it's not Weiss Schwarz. It has its own whole thing. So no, I've never played that. I never really played those video games either.
Oh, me too. So we have a question here, and hopefully you can answer your best. If not, we can always move on. This is just our best and just pure entertainment. Just want to make sure. So you are a investing advisor. What are your thoughts on AMC Entertainment stocks? I have over 500.
No comment. tread carefully, I guess. Oh
That
man.
is so funny. That is so funny.
Uh,
So based on that video that you uh basically, by the
mhm,
way, it's Rock Pokemon, you guys should go subscribe to the channel, and you put out that video and you talked about an entry point. Do you
mhm.
perhaps want to go over a little bit what you mean to perhaps somebody that doesn't know the verbiage, like a lot of, you know, a lot of people that are just not, they just wanted to learn, and what is an entry point, perhaps to someone that's new to,
Yeah.
if you want to explain that.
Sure. So when I talk about entry point, like from my like the
Mhm.
world I come from, like stocks and finance, like it's very akin to what we call cost basis. So effectively, your entry point is your all in, including taxes, fees, and shipping, your purchase entry point for a specific item, right? So if I am buying a raw card for $10, I have to pay $3 in shipping. I've got $1.50 in taxes. That's $14.50. That's my cost basis, right? So that means that from that point forward, the money in I've had to that item is $14.50. And then, if I sell it for 15 all in, I've made 50 cents on that, right? If I sell it for 14, I lost 50 cents. But it's really why I stress it so much is because it's really important to understand that where you enter into an item, if you view it as an investment, is uber important. I mean, it also is like if it's just like a collectible for your collection, right? Because you don't want to like waste money, right? You just don't want to like you don't want to just overpay for something, even if you really love it. Like out of impatience, overpaying is sometimes like a big issue that people have. Um, but when you look at an investment, it's really important because like sometimes you can purchase something that you might think is a really great investment with a good price, and you might see 10 years of that price not going anywhere, right? Like an example in the financial world is like if you bought Microsoft stock in 2001, it took you more than a decade to make your money back. And that can be basically like dead money, right? So if you're buying something as an investment, the goal always the simplest thing in investing is that you want to buy low and sell high, right? And 99% of people who are investing end up buying high and selling low because they basically buy high out of FOMO and greed, and they sell low out of fear. And that's where like most, I would say, like people who are day trading and people who are um, really like uneducated, like more simplistic investors, like 99% of them lose to like kind of the professional or even just algorithmic side of the equation. So when it comes to Pokemon, it's really important to understand what your basis is. Like for me, it was really important when I spent a good amount of time buying raw cards that I was going to grade. So I don't have as many as you, PokeGal, but I have like 150 to 200 cards at PSA, Beckett, and CGC, kind of like different cards to different grading companies depending on what they were. And for me, it was like, okay, if I'm buying this card for $3 or $5 or $10, plus whatever my point in time grading fee is there, plus the shipping to get it there, plus the shipping insurance to get it back, all those numbers in my spreadsheet roll together into what my true entry point or cost basis was, right? So if I bought a card for $10 and it cost me $10 to grade it and add another $5 for shipping and insurance back and forth, right? Simple numbers. My cost basis or my all in entry point cost is now $25, right? So I need to factor that in if I'm going to be trying to sell that for some sort of profit, or as a collector, if I say, hey, I think this is actually worth, $50 or will be someday, have I like done like a value creation scenario, right? So I did that a lot where I thought that things were crazy overextended in a lot of areas of like slab world, but I could buy a raw card that I liked or had a raw card that I liked and I could grade it and have a much lower cost basis on it to better protect myself if the market really tanked harder after that. So instead of buying $100 slab, buy a $5 raw and grade it for $10. Like that's a much lower cost basis and a much better like self-protection in my view.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And I said that on the street multiple times. I've noticed the people that are collecting Pokemon or investing in Pokemon right now, they're buying high. They're buying high
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, you're buying high and they're losing money. I've noticed that trend. And a lot of YouTube channels out there, or just basically just investment channels out there, they
Mm-hmm.
tell you what to buy. That's okay, fine. That's great, right? That's fine. That's your recommendation of what to buy. But the problem that's lacking is this: how do you make the money, right? How do you invest? And how do you really invest, right? And that's where it's lacking. You need the fundamentals of it, and they don't have that. And a lot of the YouTube channels I know, or just basically streamers out there, they go, okay, well, you can invest in this product, but you know what? Buy it from me. Buy it from me, right? I charge a premium price. Buy it from me. But in the end, are they really the people that are buying to those channels? One, are they wasting their money? Two, are they really investing? And that's where the thing needs to be answered. And I've noticed, no, the answer is not at all. It's pure entertainment. And I don't know if you noticed that just a little bit, but I
Mm-hmm.
noticed that when you made that video, are you really investing or are you just wasting your money? Because if you really want to invest, and a lot of people, they pull, let's say they have a chase card that they want to pull from that set. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw it out. Okay, I got it. A rainbow rare Pikachu, right? They really want a PSA
Mm-hmm.
10. And they just start paying $8 a pack, trying to pull left and right. Maybe it's just easier just to go buy the darn card at a PSA 10. It's
Oh
probably
yeah.
save you more money, right? At that point. And I think that's where it's wasting your money, which is the entry point, right? Sorry, that's just wasting your money, getting the product, and I think that's where it goes. But a lot of people, they interchange it to say, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm investing," but are you
Yeah.
really investing?
People need to realize like that they're really just like buying stuff. Like, and that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I bought a booster box of Eevee Heroes like
Mhm,
because I think it's going to be sick, and I opened the whole thing yesterday in one sitting and
mhm,
enjoyed it. Like
mhm,
that's like entertainment. Like that is
mhm.
spending to enjoy something that I like. But
Exactly.
when you look at it, it's gotten kind of worse and worse from a price point standpoint, both in
Exactly.
modern and vintage. But like if you
Mhm,
look at vintage breakers, like
mhm.
they're basically what they're doing is they're constantly having brokers out there look for
Yes.
boxes
Yeah,
for to buy for them, right? And
yeah.
then they're charging for that instant gratification experience
Correct.
for people to
Mhm,
have on a stream.
mhm.
But and it's funny because this is the video I'm going to do tomorrow, because yesterday
Okay.
or Thursday I opened Japanese Neo Destiny or Neo Discovery, and I pulled the Umbreon chase card, which was like exactly what I wanted to happen. But my video is going to be why opening, especially vintage, is like the dumbest thing ever, because when you look at like the expected value of a pack or a box, like
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
like you can buy like one of these packs for like $200 right now, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I haven't looked up the prices of this card because I don't really care
Mhm,
and I'm gonna keep it forever. But like
mhm,
pack fresh, very
mhm,
off center, back
mhm,
surface scratching, probably
mhm,
will be an 8.5. I don't
mhm,
care. It's going in my collection forever. But
mhm,
there's no way like that the expected value, even pulling like one of the best cards in the pack,
mhm.
makes sense against like holding something
Exactly.
that only goes
Keeping
down
it
in
sealed.
quantity over time, keeping it sealed, right? And so
Exactly.
I've
Exactly.
broken my rule a lot,
Uh-huh.
but it's because I
Uh-huh.
have a lot of them in the safe, so it's fine.
Ex
Like I can
exact
enjoy it once in a while.
exactly. So I was just, buying cards, right? And just showing
Hmm.
people the local card shop of what I buy and what I picked up,
Yeah.
which I right here. So I'm too lazy. I'll get it down there later.
Yeah.
But the truth is that that's how they market these people. I'm sorry, this is how they market to the people, right? The Gullah people will fall for it. And the Timmies and the Kimmies and Poindexters, sorry, reserve investment. I'm gonna steal that from now on. But the reality of it, and this is the darnest truth, you guys. I was showing some of the cards that I bought, and I said, "Oh, look, this card's only worth $7." And they're like, "What? But the PAX is worth $320." No, the truth is that you paid $320 for a pack. You pulled a card that's worth $7. Okay, if you get a PSA 10, yeah, sure, the card's worth what, $200. But if that card pulls a PSA 10, and that's how they sell it to you, right?
I know.
That's how they sell that pack. They'll put a nice PSA 10, and that's for you to do your own diligence and do your research. But what really irritates me on these Pokemon channels, or some of them, is that first of all, they should not be giving any type of financial advice. Okay, they're not certified.
Agreed.
They shouldn't be doing that. Terrible. I mean, that is just not how it is, and that's the
Yeah.
sad people that fall for that kind of stuff. But I totally know what you mean by that.
Well, the problem is that like
Hmm.
we've gone through a period where if you were lucky enough to have seen the writing on the wall 4 or 5 years ago and felt that there was a immense amount of undervaluation compared to the IP, the massive IP that is Pokemon, and you have now benefited from the fact that we saw an extreme boom because of a amalgamation of several very, very black swan unique events that have happened,
Hmm.
right? Between COVID and uh, celebrities getting involved and what have you, right? All these things coming together to create this perfect storm. Like that, in a lot of ways, that was an investment and an investment thesis that played out probably much faster than most people thought. Like I don't think people, like back in 2016 when I was like, oh, XY Evolutions, that's cool, that looks like base set, but like I don't have any money to spend on this stuff. Like like I could have thought it was a good idea, but like there wasn't any way for me to like back up the truck. Like I was just trying to pay my bills and fund my 401k, like help. But people back then, they made, something that was an investment, a thesis that played out, and it rapidly played out. And hopefully a lot of them have sold into this market to realize that gain. But people now, like, they don't realize that like collectibles really, like if you look at them historically, art has in certain time periods done better than inflation. Like you've actually had an annualized return on like high end art. But honestly, a lot of these things are truly just like a keep up with inflation hedge type of investment. And that's really more a store of value than like a true like the way most people think of investments, because they only think of stocks, right? They don't understand that it's like a diversified portfolio and it's a piece of the puzzle. And if you got 100%, you put 5% of it in collectibles and it only does inflation, but it doesn't go down 20% when the market goes down 20%, then it's a diversifier. And that's a little more probably complex than people want to get into, but that's kind of how I think of it. And now people are confusing the fact that like we just went through the most ridiculous bull market in a single collectibles history with how this always works. And we've basically compressed 5 to 10 years of returns, if not more, into like a 6 month period. Right. And that's why you saw like a huge ramp up with a pretty significant retrace that we're going through right now. And we could sit through that for another 5 to 10 years. Like we could sit or keep falling at this level, broadly speaking, right? There's parts of the hobby that are going up while others are going down. But people don't realize, like, really the people who are like entering in this hobby to try to make money, it's a it's like they're trying to be a business. Like flipping is a like a business proposition. Like it's not in my view, it's not really investing. It's like day trading. Like day traders, it doesn't matter if it's widgets or if it's AMC stock or if it's a random biotech penny stock. Like it's just about the numbers and the charts and the at the end of the day, if you made money or lost money, right? And it doesn't matter. You know, people could do it with Pokemon cards. They could do it with rare coins. They could do it with lumber because like no one can build houses right now because there's no lumber. Like it doesn't matter what the thing is. Like that's just a business. Like flipping and creating liquidity and buying low and selling high rapidly over and over and over again. That's really like a business in my view. A little less of like an investment. It's a way to invest in some ways, but I think people get this confused where they think they're just gonna like buy a slab that's like $500 and
Yep.
in like a year it's going to be $1,000. Like the probability of that happening based on your, you know, to be frank, lack of knowledge of the rarity, scarcity, quality, popularity of this item, like you're probably going to lose because if it was that easy, everyone would do it. Like that's what it comes down to. And like I love this hobby more than anything. Like I love Pokemon. I have grown up with this. It, you know, like in my opinion, like the 90s and the early 2000s were the best time to grow up. Like it was awesome. And I really hope that people continue to like love this hobby and really learn that it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a really beautiful intellectual property brand that has like a lot of awesome facets to it. And yes, you might buy some cardboard that might like hold value or appreciate over time. And then there's sealed, which, you know, sealed is a whole different ball game, but
I'll
get off my high horse.
No, not at all. We need to talk about liquidity a little bit later. I want to talk about
for
that.
sure.
And that's something that I have learned. We got to go back to the comments, but we're going to go and talk about that just a little bit. I know I've noticed that. I was so engaged. I apologize, you guys. We're gonna go straight to the comments, but there's some things we're gonna talk about liquidity, about just understanding just the basic of just investing, right? Again, what we have learned and what we know without giving any financial advice and legal advice, especially, you know, because I'm an attorney and then you are a CFP. So we make sure we are doing this without making sure. Okay, so LeBron is still the go. Oh my Lord. We are. I'm not to like dispense with my guests, but we will. The next stream we're gonna go on. Now we're talking. Why does it seem like a new Pokemon product start off so hot and then lose value so small? Oh, so fast. Sports cards start off. I'm not sure of anything about sports, but let me know if you do know about sports a little bit. I'm still learning about sports, and that's the honest truth. But I want you to give you a shot with this answer. I think I probably know some reason why.
Yeah. So from my view, first of all, modern sports like very confusing to me. Just because there's like too much going on. Like there's too many sets and too many different colored cards. Like I just opened something yesterday. I was like, I don't even know what I'm looking at, but I love sports. I don't know as much about, like, I know the trends in modern sports and why things happen. But as far as a new Pokemon product, like I think it's a very simple situation of like FOMO, fear of missing out, that hypes up something before it comes out, that makes people overpay for pre-ordering it. And then when it comes out that the company is going to print it to demand, you just kind of slowly see or rapidly see that product's price fall off. You know, people were paying $150 for, you know, EV Heroes pre-orders, and like you can get those easily for like 100 right now. It'll probably fall to even like maybe 80 or 75, like by, I don't know, it depends how much they print of it, but you know, it's really just that like people are so nervous about like missing out and they don't think rationally because that's not really in people's like natures. So that's my view. And then if it's a dud set too, like part of it's like playability versus collectability, right? So like battle style is very playable set, like will be printed a lot of, I think, for a long time because it's like about the game and single strike and rapid strike and like all those things that I don't know much about, but I know they're a part of the game. Like it's in the Pokemon company's incentive to print the heck out of that. And if there's only like one chase card, like people aren't gonna want to pay absurd prices to like open that set, but like players will want it for like the next 5 years, and so there'll be a ton of supply because Pokemon's incentivized to print that. So that's what I think. I don't know. How about you, PokeGal?
You're right. Well, the thing is that I've noticed something. This is something I want to mention as well. So, my local card shop, and I love them. Right, I've been buying from them for a long time. I've been buying from LA to Orange County, but mostly in Orange County. They told me over this past weekend that they said this, you guys, that Chilling Rain was not allocated at all. They told me that. They said to me, well, one of my local card shop, they have, and exact words, plenty. And they're doing a pre-orders for 130. So at first, I've noticed it was going online for 160, and then it was going for 150, 140 now, and 130. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down to like 110. I won't. But they were taking pre-orders left and right, and they still have tons of pre-orders left at 130. And I said, so what happened? They're like, we're getting them. We are getting them. And people are not buying, and their pre-orders are not
People
sold
haven't
out.
been around long enough to understand
Exactly.
that, like, okay, when the Pokemon company came out and said, we're going to do reprints, right?
They're going to do it.
They're going to do it eventually, but people don't like put the pieces together. Like, you can't create a new factory overnight. But now that most states are easing COVID restrictions, production capacity at current facilities is obviously going to go up because you can have more people, more shifts, more runtime, more production. Like, just simply thinking about it, right? Like a better supply chain that is coming back online in a more reasonable way. They're going to be able to get more product out there, and they would be dumb if they didn't, because they'll keep doing it until the supply demand mechanics don't make sense for them, right? Like, why would you not take advantage of the most booming time that your IP's ever seen since the beginning? Print it all.
That's true. And I remember Roaring Skies. People were like, oh, we need more Roaring Skies. Pokemon says, okay. Evolutions came out. We need more evolutions. Pokemon says, oh, here's 5 more years. Generations, you want more? $27 a pack? Oh, we will print. We will. And they did. My Lord, they printed. And any card, and I noticed they do tailor. They try to tailor any card that's playable. They put in a darn tin, right? So I've noticed that. So, and I do want to do a quick disclaimer. I did post this on Facebook. Mason, I don't know if he's here or not. He did say that they do come in waves. For his store, they came in waves, right? But they did not. He got all the numbers he ordered. But my local card shop, for some weird reason, tons of it. First release, he said, oh, we went plenty. I thought it was interesting. Savari Zone, the owner, she did say that she was allocated down to 12%. But I want to know what the number that she ordered. So let's say she ordered about 10,000. They're ordered to 12%. That's still a great number.
Still a lot.
I should have asked. Number. But anyways,
and it all depends on the relationships and all that.
Exactly. I'm so pretty excited. I think, and by the way, for the first time in a while, I saw Target selling Pokemon cards again. Now, this is why I think they realized we're not making any money. Put it back. Well, we saw revenue. Put it back. That's what I think.
The online thing was never going to work. I mean, I don't even know how they tried to do that, but they have contractual obligations, most likely, with the Pokemon company or their wholesale distributor, that like they can't just stop selling a certain they probably it was building up in warehouses until it cooled off. It was basically an optical PR move. Which, I mean, I guess you should probably do when sports guys are pulling guns on each other, but like it's fine. It's fine.
I really want to talk about this next one. And Allen Hustle. Did she mention anything about LeBron? She probably did. She didn't. Oh, okay. Oh,
by the way, LeBron was my dad's favorite, so I'm a LeBron guy. I can buy him.
Are? Okay.
I can. So the one piece of sports memorabilia I still want is a signed LeBron picture. because I have Kobe
Gotcha.
and MJ, and I want to put them all together in one frame. But that's an aside.
Gotcha.
One
Gotcha.
thing I've noticed if you're watching
Yeah,
Netflix
one thing
every
I've
2 years,
noticed
it's
is
like,
exactly. We gotta talk about this a little bit. So I've been getting a lot of questions about is black and white gradable, investable, tons of it. I don't even know who in the world somebody is pumping up black and white. I've noticed this. Okay, now.
Yeah, I'm not going to say
Yeah.
names, but yes, it's
Okay. So
it's
it was
popping
true. I
up.
knew it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that, right? And
Yeah.
I just want to say something real quick about black and white, okay? And this is my opinion, you guys,
Mm-hmm.
okay? I if you guys Google PokeGal and the cat's meow, I collected so much during the black and white era because Pokemon was considered dead, and you were totally uncool if you collected Pokemon during that time, right? Guess what? I was really uncool at that time. But anyway, so so the cat's meow and I, Catherine, have been friends for like 10 years. So we did a lot of trading here and there. And I've noticed, I'm telling you guys something. My opinion, okay, black and white, keep it sealed, and noble victories, emergent powers. There's some. I mean, let me see if I can even pull this. 1 second, okay? I think I have it somewhere. I don't watch a lot of PokeTubers, but you need to tell me after the chat because I do not want to expose anyone. But let me see where this. So I got this for like $4, right? It was $6. I negotiated down. They're like, oh, $4, and their dog was
Tornadus
sitting there.
VMAX full
Yeah,
art
and
or
it was a
whatever.
very nice. And there you go, right? Couple of these, and I'm telling you guys, and they're telling me, should I grade the hollows for black and white from noble victories and emergent powers? I'm telling you guys, if you guys think I'm legit and I've been collecting for a long time, I will tell you something. I have never, ever, in my whole entire lifetime, I know a lot of people and I go to a lot of leagues, never, ever, anyone has ever asked or looked for says, hey, do you have a PSA 10 black and white hollow? And I don't name a black and white hollow. Like, let me see. I have never. And
So this
I
is
mean,
why
that's
this is happening, I think. Okay. So I
okay.
think this is happening because, and we've seen it happen, like where,
A quick disclaimer, except for some Pokemon like probably Blastoise and Charizard, there probably is. But let me look at some of the hollows. But keep on going. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. What I was going to say is people are trying to effectively predict the future by going further and further out on the like curve of Pokemon's life, right? So people are just I think, trying to make bets on, these cards in 10 years. The classic thing, and I've said it before, right? The people who are collecting this stuff are like, 10 years away from their, having the actual amount of discretionary income to be able to, want to buy these cards. So collectors or people who are investing are buying them now, trying to like create that self-fulfilling prophecy of them being worth a lot more in 10 years, which it could happen and it could not.
So the hold it
really hard to
effect.
say.
Got it. I understand
that's
now.
what I think.
Okay, the hold it effect. Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
So
like
I'm
that's
just
what
thinking. Okay.
people got sick of vintage and they earned vintage WotC, and they're everyone's on EX now, right? And like Hisoka's like the OG with EX, like he loves that stuff, and it was really cool to see that. But like a lot of people are pumping it now because it's like, what's next? What's next? So
that's the Dragon Vault. I'm positive that's a subset. I think that was out of 20 cards. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying. That's a Pikachu. So some of these are exceptional, right? This is the black and white Plasma Storm. There's also black Plasma Storm Secret Rare Blastoise. But I have never, and tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me in the chat, guys. I've been collecting for such a long time. I have never ever in my entire collecting has anyone ever asked me, or even I looked at it and says, "Do you have a PSA 10 Virizion?" Never, like never. I never, and that's where I think a lot of new collectors, they don't understand just because that card is not, nobody grades that card or low pop, is because nobody wants that card in the first place. There's no organic demand for that card, right? Exactly. And I'm telling you, black and white, be very careful. Be very careful on that. It was dead, and there's a lot of combinations to more black and white, right? You got to have people that want it, organic demand. to it. I don't think with emergent powers, I don't think noble victories. I'm just looking at my balance sheet's cross. I don't remember, but we'll go into that. But I totally agree. Do you have any comments on what Island Hustle said? I do agree with this. Oh, I do.
On what Island Hustle said? Yeah, I mean, I think it's like it. Yes, I mean it happens. I think that we've seen it time and time again through, especially through this hype period. But it's just like it's just simple, like pumping your own stuff, right? Like I'll be very candid with people, like because for me, like I don't need to like make money in Pokemon. Like I just really like it. And if I do, like that's really cool. Like my goal has always been to just kind of like de-risk my entire collection, right? Like basically if I can buy like a handful of things and sell the rest of them to cover that cost, like basically make my collection free, right? But like I'll be totally transparent with like people with like what I think's legit, what's not, what I own. Anyone can ask me anything about anything I own and what era it's from and what I think's interesting. Like, and most of these guys are not doing that because it's obviously not in their best interest, and they are using this as a primary source of income or a secondary source of income, right? Where
so
like
selling
Pokemon for me is like so far down, or a lot of like I'd say like legit people in the hobby, like it's like unless you're like actually a full-time business, and then it's different. Like they're just doing it because they kind of want to make a quick buck. So yeah, I think it's totally true, right? I mean, I think at the end of the day, like people are always going to do that. I don't really know what else to say other than that. I agree. I mean, it's
I do
people
agree.
are going to do
I've noticed that. I think when I heard about black and white, and the first instinct, I'm like, someone's trying to sell you something, isn't it? But I didn't want to ask. But eventually I'll talk about box breaks. That makes sense. Okay, so they're trying to sell you something, aren't they? I'm like, I've never heard. Anna, do you have a PSC 10 clink clank? I was like, I don't even want it raw. So I was like, no, not at all.
Yeah.
But that's just my honest opinion. No problem, Swami. I'm pretty
What's up,
excited.
Swami?
I think we need a
He's
demonstration
super
of
smart.
food.
I'm a big
Oh,
fan
I love
of
Swami. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
he was just on with the Collect and Spec guys. It was great. They did a podcast, Rainy Day Collectibles and
How can you not hate that? Look,
that's amazing.
I've learned to do that, so it was very interesting. I'm very excited. I can't believe I did that myself. Let me go here. Nice, Swami. I think you need to demonstrate. Okay, why don't you do that? How much would that pack of not you. For that pack that you open, how much will that pack cost when you open it, and how much does that Emberium cost right now that you estimate raw?
The card is definitely less than the pack significantly. I do not think I could sell the pack. Like I think you can get Neo Discovery for about $200 right now because it's like the least loved of the Neo sets for some reason, despite the fact that Japanese Neo Discovery has the Secret Rare Raichu and Umbreon and Espeon first appearance, all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe I haven't checked the raw price of that card in a long time, but I doubt I pulled probably the best card you could pull out of there, and it's probably still not worth what it would have been to keep sealed. Both now and 10 years from now, right? Like, because the way I see it, like from an investment standpoint, there's a couple very, very unique, specific sets and cards that I think could have some like really long-term potential to like outpace inflation or outpace the rest of the hobby, or the like broad collectibles market. I think that sealed though is like, look at that, especially because it's Japanese. Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck.
$30, baby.
$30. Whoa, we got $56 here. We'll round it up and give you 40.
When bids in the UK always go for like 30% more than everything else. I don't understand it. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness gracious. That's so funny. Let me go here. The best part was
I was gonna say, just to this question, the $7 card ripping a vintage pack. There's like a great meme of a guy like holding like a clear case with like the cards that
Mhm.
he pulled out of like a base unlimited booster pack or something, and they're like
Mhm.
they're terrible. Like it's like all trainers and terrible cards, and he's like,
Oh,
"This is what I got for like $5,000 or whatever." It's so funny.
that's
Keep it sealed, guys.
$1,000.
Keep it
What is?
sealed.
What are you
thirty
talking about?
thousand dollar
This is
Bulbasaur.
$1,000, Connor. $1,000. Best
Oh,
offer.
I know what I have.
Oh my
I
god!
know what I have.
I
No low
totally
balls.
did not. I totally made the screen. Okay, were you kidding me? This is $1,000, Connor. You could get a great. Not probably gonna get a 10, but if you do,
Oh my
it's
god.
$1,000, Connor.
1,000 OBO.
Eight
Yeah, and
hundred. Oh,
they
screw.
probably
Who
took
takes
a
the name?
$200 offer.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I'm just happy to have that card in my
Yeah,
collection.
congratulations on that one. Now trying. There you go,
It
Squeak.
was
There
lucky.
you go. Yes,
Hey,
it's a
Squeaks.
business, and
Big
when they
fan of
realize that
Squeaks.
oh, I absolutely am. Oh, I'm doing a Pokemon card trust, and I'm sitting there doing it. But I'm gonna talk to Squeak soon because the people that my trustee for my Pokemon
Mhm.
card collection, they're like, well, what do we do with the cards after you? If anything happened to you? I said, oh, you're right, huh? Right. So I'm gonna talk to Squeak and perhaps put him as a one of a see if they reach out. Anything were to
That'd be
happen to me,
awesome.
I'm very worried about because I know my family. They do not know anything about these
Yes.
cards. They will
I've
go
heard
like,
your story of your
oh yeah,
mom. Oh no.
$200. Yes, it's
Oh
crazy
man.
business. They realize they're optically running their business because they aren't treating it as well. They will fail. Exactly.
Right. And Squeaks
Exactly.
knows because he has run a
Yeah.
very, through thick and thin, run a successful
Mhm.
business. And so people
Speaking
don't
of,
realize, like, they don't know taxes. Like, they don't know they need an LLC and they need a CPA and they need to understand how to structure it so that, especially now, like we were talking, I
mhm.
think offline before, like with the
Yeah.
stimulus stuff, like
Mhm.
they snuck into one of the bills changes to the
Yes.
1099K. And
Yeah.
that's basically for the guys and gals in the chat who don't know, it's
Mhm.
basically the tax income filing associated with selling on eBay, PayPal goods and services, Facebook Marketplace, all that. And there used to be a very high threshold before you had to file that as income. And now, if you sold one card starting January 1st next year for $600 or more, you're going to have to file that
Yeah.
1099K, and
Yeah.
you're going to have to show that as income. And so
Yeah.
how do you mitigate that? Well, if you're doing
Oh,
what I said,
yeah.
whereas keep
Yeah.
your costs super low, then you got to figure out the ways to fill the gap between the cost and what you sold it
Mhm.
for, right? So it's
Yeah.
about deducting expenses for shipping and
Yeah.
all these, all that complicated stuff. So
Yeah.
leave
And
that
you
to the
know what?
pros.
And to be honest with you, I think there will be like, "Hey, you wanna meet me at the back alley?" kinda deal. That's what I that's
100%.
probably happening how right now,
We're
I'm
gonna
pretty
lose a
sure.
ton of price history. People are gonna like.
Yeah.
I mean, eBay's
Yeah.
it's the weird, like, it's like a weird
Mhm. Mhm.
give and take or double edged sword, right? Because
Mhm.
eBay has the biggest like reach
Mhm.
for anyone to
Mhm.
sell anything in the world, right? You basically
Mhm.
have access to the biggest market in the world, but in-person shows, Instagram DM
Correct.
deals, like I would much rather sell something to someone in person, trade it at a show. I did that like a
Mhm.
month ago with some sports cards
Mhm.
and Pokemon
Mhm.
cards. Like it's like it never happened,
Yeah. But,
you know?
we file our taxes, right? No, just
Always.
kidding.
Always file
Always,
my
and
taxes.
always, and
I have a great
correctly
CPA.
reported. Very
Correctly
nice.
reported.
Very nice. Very nice. That's a joke, you guys. We always will. So I'm not gonna lose my license over Pokemon
I had to
cards.
tell my CPA how to fix my
Uh-huh.
taxes this year. So they
Really?
screwed it up.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
it was unbelievable.
Very
But
nice. We
they don't
Yeah,
understand crypto. But we won't talk about crypto. Or we could.
we were also talking about offline just a little bit because both of what we do, I'm a financial attorney and you are a CFP. I was telling offline, we're like, if they know what's really going on with the economy, they probably would not invest in luxury goods right now.
No.
Not at all. But we're gonna go back to the question, which
I'd
we
be
will talk.
locking in some long-term debt on a really valuable property that
As
won't go up for 30 years. To be
that'll be
honest, I haven't heard you.
Mhm.
Oh, well, thanks, Squeaks. I really appreciate that. And I've learned a tremendous amount from you. So
I love Squeak. He's so
uh,
amazing.
him
What?
him and Radar were great. Squeaks by himself is great.
Yeah.
The content's fantastic. So thoughts on holding sealed for the long term?
Ooh.
Let's talk about this. So let's talk about modern.
Well, just as you can tell, I'm the queen of holding things. So,
Yeah, you have
but
an awesome collection.
Oh, thank you. You go first on this. I think he's asked, "What are your thoughts?" So you answer. I'm gonna
We'll
quiet on
both
this.
answer. So with modern, I think it's incredibly difficult to it's a very big gamble to hold it sealed for the long term, especially for very like generic items, like things that were even off the get-go were printed in pretty much abundance, right? Like if a set was based around booster boxes, if you're just holding those for the long term, because of the ability for the Pokemon company to basically reprint anything they want, um, and the incredible level of demand there is now for this stuff, I think that it's going to be hard because people are trying to do like what happened with first edition base, where like people in 1999 and 2000, like unless you were Gary, like they weren't hoarding this stuff thinking it was going to be worth tons of money in the future. And you cannot create the self-fulfilling prophecy here, because if everyone hoards sealed XY Evolutions booster boxes and 20 years from now there's all that hoarded supply that's not rare nor scarce, and therefore it can't be worth, from a supply demand standpoint, an incredible amount of money, right? It just doesn't work like basic economics. Vintage, I think, especially as we see breakers open vintage over and over and over again, and we know that they cannot produce any more packs from 1999, and the supply can only go down, and the chase demand is fairly strong, and if Pokemon survives as an entity, will hold. I think that the best and most quote unquote investable portion of the hobby is vintage sealed, but that's if you can keep it sealed, because most people don't have, I think, the discipline to keep anything sealed, whether it's modern or vintage. Like all of a sudden you have a bad day and you've opened the safe and ripped open 10 base set packs, right? Like it's inevitable. It's human nature, and people love that chase. So it takes a very, very strong amount of discipline, I think, to invest in sealed. It's always been the route I've gone. I think that if you can grade it and get it in an uncrackable or a highly difficult to crack case, that helps keep it off your hands. But I think that modern's really tough. I think that some of the more esoteric or unique modern items might be an interesting place to hold for the next 10 years, 20 years, right? And I have some of that in my collection, full disclosure. But I'm much more confident in the value proposition around sealed vintage. But I could be wrong, it could totally, people could not care about Watsiera at some point,
Yeah, the thing is that I don't think when you talk about entry, right? I don't think there's
Mm-hmm.
people that have capital to even perhaps get like a vintage Wizard of the Coast booster box, right? I think
Yeah.
so. That's where they jumped on the modern train. Now,
Mm-hmm.
and I've said this a lot of times. I don't know. Me and you, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't. But I
Yeah.
can tell you from an objective point, because you have these Facebook group, you can tell there's groups that are completely dedicated to just keeping things sealed and motivating other people. Keep it sealed. Keep it sealed. And I can
Yeah.
tell you, I see so many sealed products stored, so many that are stored right now. Okay. But that's the difference, though. The difference is that back then I kept all of this. Who knows, right? But I've always noticed a trend that seal tends to keep a little bit more of their value and go up steadily. That's why I keep
Mm-hmm.
that seal. I've
Mm-hmm.
always noticed that. But I've noticed But back then, people weren't doing this, right? People were
Right.
just like, oh, it's Pokemon cards, $85 a booster box. Yeah, back then I could buy a booster box for $85. I don't even know how they were making money back then. But anyways, so and I kept it sealed, everything sealed. But that back then, people weren't doing what I was doing. They're doing it now, right?
Right.
So the competition is probably more people are going to compete with people that are doing it now compared to someone like me who has all this stuff sealed. Back then, people opened it all. I
Yeah.
think I to me, it's probably one of the safest bet. Okay, but it's how you do it. It's how you do it.
Right.
I've noticed vivid voltage. Someone put on Facebook they were selling for 150. 150. It went back, it went down, it was what 280, 250,
Yeah.
and now it went down to like 200, now to 150. But it's how you do it, right? You never my recommendation is to never pay above MSRP if you are, I guess,
Yeah. And
never,
honestly,
never.
I think that and this is just my opinion, like this whole like MSRP floor theory is like I think that things can fall below that number. Like we're
They
seeing that
have
with
battle
battle
saddles.
styles.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's people are shelling those ETBs. They just want them gone. It doesn't matter because they just need their money back to roll it back into the next thing. Like, and that's the difference between being like a collector or investor versus a business, right? Because the business will take the L, they'll net it against income, and they'll just roll that capital into the next thing and try to make money on it. Like that's a business. That's how a business functions. But like as an investor, like you got to realize like you can get totally killed on some of this stuff. Like there could be no floor. Like people might never want modern product at some point, right? If you have a, you know, we've seen it. There's, I mean, there's some really bad sets, but what's the one I'm thinking of? It's like a 2017 set that everyone. Oh, Steam Siege. Like
oh, okay.
people do not like that set, right? Like
No.
the probability of that being an investable asset for the long term is very low.
Mhm. But if you
It's
were to
tough.
pay MSRP, well, back then, I don't know, back then, let's say it was
Who
100,
knows?
who knows, okay?
Yeah.
You probably did make a little bit of profit because I probably sealed booster boxes, what,
Pro-
I 200? I don't know. I'm
if
throwing
you
numbers
sold
out there.
it, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
like
still
if
something,
you
your ROI is still there.
so good, yeah. I mean, you extrapolate over how many years, and but that's
Exactly.
one if you can, you know, if you can sell it, and
Mhm,
two, if what was I going to say? Basically, that good enough. It's basically that you can still have had a poor entry point. So it really
correct.
just depends on what you paid for it.
Exactly. If anything worse, you break even, right? Hopefully.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Hopefully.
Like that's the hope.
Hopefully, right? So that's why,
Yeah.
that's I think it's a safe thing, and I'm very biased, as you guys
Yeah.
can tell. I'm very
Yeah.
biased.
Oh, what I was gonna
So,
say is that
mhm,
it's safe in
mhm,
relative terms to poke.
mhm,
So someone put out a video the other day, and I made a positive but very pointed comment about the fact
mhm,
that people try to like say, okay, sealed's like bonds and ETBs are like mutual funds and booster box or whatever, and like cards are like stocks, right? And but they miss the whole point that all of this is very high risk, right? Like you are investing high amounts of money in a very high risk area of investing because it's a alternative that has very little intrinsic value, right? Like from the fact that like it's like a piece of cardboard, right? But then there's the whole obviously the nostalgia and the chase and the all those things around it add value to it. But it's like always remembering that it's like super high risk. Like at the end of the day, like viewing this as an investment. It's nothing about anything in this hobby from an investment standpoint is safe in my opinion because the IP could be wiped off the face of the planet tomorrow. I mean, what if Disney buys it and screws it up? Like, which I think I said in that video, like probably will never happen, but you never know, right? Like, so there's a lot of risks I think people don't don't think about. There are people who
true.
have bought
Mhm.
boxes recently, like at the peak,
Mhm.
that they might never recover, right? And then they
That's
might
very
just
true.
open it, and basically you just paid for something to open, and good for you, but it
That's
wasn't
true.
an investment. So,
Yeah, you did mention that in your video, right? What if Pokemon did something completely out of hand? People are like, "Screw
yeah,
Pokemon, I'm out of here," right?
yeah.
But I guess just to reiterate, let's say if you do want to, and again, bias here, as you
Mhm.
can tell, I think it's probably
Yeah.
one of the safest, assuming Pokemon's on the right path to me.
Right. No, totally agree. I think
Mhm,
that if you can access vintage, full
mhm,
disclaimer, like most of my vintage
mhm,
sealed is Japanese,
mhm,
largely because the price points have always even been cheaper
mhm,
than English, even when they like weren't expensive at all. And I just like it more. Like I always
mhm.
just collected what I love. So, um, those are still very accessible, I think, today. It doesn't mean they're over or undervalued. I'm just saying from a dollar standpoint, right? You
Yeah.
can buy a pack for, 150, 200, 250, $300 versus, first edition of anything in WotC era is much more than that, right?
Mhm.
I think you have to be careful though, like not everything vintage necessarily means it's rare, right? Like
Yeah.
unlimited, lots of unlimited. Common cards, lots of common cards, right? But like unlimited booster packs, right? Like there's still a good amount of that, right? So
Mhm. Yeah.
it's hard to there's never any like it's always like an it depends answer, right? Like if there was a perfect easy answer for it, everyone would have done it and everyone would be making money,
That's true.
and
That's very true.
just isn't that
That's very
easy.
true. That's very
Yeah.
true. You should post our video. I just subscribed, Mr. Locknet says, well, thank you for
Thanks,
that.
Mr. Locknet.
I can tell you. I want to know. Probably PokeRev, but I want to know. Black and white. Oh yeah, really, real deal. Oh hey Z, how are ya? How are you? How are you, Wizard of the Coast, Dorado? How are you doing? Great to finally watch you. My boss gave me homework to watch you. What? What, Lori? Okay. There you go. Geeked out Brock's game. Okay. Poke Knowledge, how are you? The generation with money in the hobby just isn't familiar with black and white. You can pick them up for cheap and controls. Pop reports temporary. People are trying to have the cars perfect. Exactly.
Yeah,
Somebody's doing it. Because I've been getting a lot of these questions like with black and white. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa,
yeah.
whoa. Where is these questions
There's a
coming
couple
from?
guys
The
breaking
first thing that
boxes.
I said, somebody's pumping it up because they're selling something. That's what it is. And I'm letting you guys know. Black and white, be very, very, very careful. That came out when Pokemon was dead. And
Yeah.
I've been collecting for a long time. I have never, like I said, made that joke. Never heard anyone ask, PokeGal, do you have a PSA 10 Verizon? Never. Or even a 9, or even a 1, or even a raw card for that, dude. Please double check. Of course, there's some secret
Crazy.
rares and there's some full arts that you probably can. But I would double check on that, do your research. But if there is black and white, I know there is this Dark Explorer, right? And
Hmm.
there's Dragon Exalted. I have these boxes up there somewhere, but Plasma Storm,
That's like
Plasma
my
Freeze.
weakest era of Pokemon, 100%.
Yeah.
I It's the least I know about, right?
Yeah.
And but I
Mhm,
will say that something important that Poke Knowledge cards pointed out
mhm,
is like about people controlling the pop reports, right? And
mhm.
like how people can, first of all, people don't understand pop reports, right? To your point earlier, like something might have
Mhm.
a very low pop because no one ever wanted to grade it before because it was never worth
Exactly.
grading. So it wasn't worth anything. It was a freaking base set unlimited dugong or whatever, and like no one wanted it, right? So you have to be really careful with that, and also you have to be careful of people hoarding items, right? Like a great example, I think, are not any, but a lot of, because they're all different. The Wizards of the Coast Black Star promos, like there were certain ones of those cards that I think, I have a feeling there are a ton of out there. Example is the holographic Eevee. It's like that tri-colored holographic Eevee. I've always wanted one of those. I've never had one. Like maybe I had one as a kid. I don't know, but I'm willing to wait as long as it takes because I just keep seeing more and more come online, more CGC slabs come online. And it's funny because like there's very few 10s in that card because it was difficult to grade in a 10 because of the hollow. But there's tons and tons of 9s, and the pops keep growing. Like I pull the pop reports every month for like probably like 10 different sets, 12 different sets. And you know, there's people who will slowly just drip these into the market, right? There's some people who will like get afraid and dump all their stuff into the market, but there's very smart people who will sell into every market, but do it very slowly. So they'll grade the card and they'll sell a couple, they'll list a couple more, they'll list a couple more, and you see it. And it's very like simple because they hold the population, right? They hold the raw inventory. They can slowly grade it, slowly flip it into the market at every price point.
I mean, I hate to pick on this card. This is the card that I bought for $4. I've not put in the
Tornadoes
collection
one?
yet. I bought this
Yeah.
for $4, and this is very, very nice. It's a little bit OC. But you're right. Let's say pull black and white. I don't know what set this is. Emergent Powers. I'm gonna throw it out there. I think it is. I could be.
Two of them, right? Like the two.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, but I know this is black and white, right?
Too many Pokemon.
The thing is that I've always told people, like, people are like, oh, Pokemon investment is easy. Pokemon's. I'm like, no, I think I disagree. I think it's hard. I've been collecting for 2 years. I think it's hard because you need to understand the knowledge of the card. You need to understand, do people want that card or at all, right? So
what's the historical significance? Who liked it? How much of it was like?
Correct, right?
There's so
Let's
much
say
of that.
if I get this darn card graded, it comes with PSA 10. What are the chances of me getting to sell this card? Who wants this card? And I've never heard of anyone goes, do you have a PSA 10 Tornadoes? I mean, there's probably some people that want to get their collections. I don't get me wrong. But is the demand there? Is the organic demand, is it there? Or is just a bunch of people that's hyping that card and saying, buy that card, right? So that's a different thing. So anyways.
Totally different.
I do want to know now. Hi, Poke. Oh, hey, Laura. How are you? Black and white. I agree. Well, you know, there are some sets. It's not bad. There's that Dragon Exalted Rayquaza. We'll talk about that a little bit there. They just slip eventually. If you stream with their friends, you bring up, oh yeah, I bought these booster boxes. There were 75 a piece. Really? Oh, okay.
She said, yeah.
What the back?
She's saying that basically no, like these guys were pumping stuff. Like they slip up once in a while. Like they'll brag about the fact that they, you know, bought it for 75 and sold it for 150. Like whether it's in a clubhouse or in a Discord, like people can't keep their mouths shut. Because they're just young and have a lot of hubris.
It's sweet, impressive. You had a good time. Oh, that's very nice. I want to double check. Dollar Tree, glad to hear you well. Oh, hey, Fighter, I got your package. I went specifically today, your package. What is your favorite EFT? Is it passively or actively managed? Ooh.
Yeah, I can't answer that question. I don't have a favorite. It's all in context, right? Like, but
ensured your collection. I'm gonna do it right now. Some of it's in the storage. Hey, Dimma, how are you? I do 1099K square. The freaking stuffed animal took 1 year to arrive. What? I have no idea. Is this your friend by any chance, Laura?
No.
No. Well, hello, Laura. Welcome.
Hello, welcome.
Always report those tax administrators. You're shut down, fined, prosecuted if you don't.
Yeah, especially in the hemp industry.
The LLC
that's
to
great.
Pokemon. Hello, James. How are you? That's a desperate deal. Battle Style is going to be expensive because they said they don't have a reason to reprint that.
Oh, I think they do. I mean, it's a highly playable set. Like, I think they'll reprint it eventually, or just keep, slowly printing it.
I would not bet anything against Pokemon. That's what I'm telling you guys. I just do not bet anything against Pokemon.
Between them and Nintendo having the stake in that company, like they are so strategic and deliberate with everything they do. I would never bet against them as far as a choice they're going to make from a production standpoint.
Oh, look, there's Mason. The professor's in the house as we
Mason.
summon.
Big fan of Mason.
I know. Yes, we summoned Mason. There he is. I actually tagged him, and I don't know what you guys said, but he did confirm to me that they did get in other ways, but he got all the numbers. That where is Mason? There he is. No, look, where's that professor? He's gonna sit right down next to us. I did this by
Oh, that's
myself. Look at that.
amazing.
Look
That's
at that.
so cool.
Ah! I did that all by myself.
Uh,
Oh, it was really cool. So I really like Mason. So
that's funny. He's
anyways,
great.
that's funny. He is. Thanks for answering my question. No problem. Just Amazon. Let's go. Amazon just bought MGM and James Bond franchise. Maybe they'll be a front runner to buy Pokemon. Oh my lord! Amazon opened up a Pokemon channel last year. They're stepped. Oh wow.
Huh.
Oh
I would
wow.
love to see a live action Pokemon show, like a live action
Wow.
slash CGI type
Mm-hmm.
reboot of the original anime or something. That would be very cool. I'm still waiting for when we're going to get this Coco movie in the United States because it came out in Japan at the end of
Uh-huh.
last year and we still haven't gotten it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And we're
Oh.
supposed to figure out who Ash's
Ooh.
dad is. And
Oh
I don't know if
really?
they're ever going to release it. Yeah,
Wow. Wow. Wow.
allegedly.
Mason. Definitely agree with you. Consider IP and Pokemon. So I want to show you something that I wanted to show you. I brought this up
Yeah.
Swami's channel, and now that I
Uh-huh.
have a certified financial planner, I want to read this. Okay, this is from the card completionist. Okay, I don't know if you see it. I apologize.
No, I see it.
But okay, I've been collecting the trading card game for about 20 years, and I agree with Pad Dukes. Here's why Pokemon cards are a bad long-term keyword long-term investment.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, Pokemon cards are a luxury good, right? When the economy is doing well, they tend to do well. That makes sense, right? That makes sense. And I have to because my webcam is covering it. When the economy is weak, card value plummets. We saw this in the 2008/2009 with the Great Recession. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Let me go here. If you need your job and need to put food on the table, cards aren't going to be helpful. Love it. Love it. If something that was going to happen again, card values will plummet and it will be difficult to sell your cards even at a reduced price in that environment. Love that. We're going to talk about that. While
Yeah.
trophy cards and certain high-end cards are experiencing impressive gains today, it is reasonable to assume that they will hold their value over time. They are the exception, not the rule. I would not expect the vast majority of Pokemon cards to maintain the gains they are currently experiencing over the long term. And I want to talk about this, right? With about to liquidate the cards. Another issue with trophy cards is that they are liquid. I have Pokemon Snap Poliwag. I know there are about 20 copies of that were ever printed. But it takes a long time going fast, you guys, a long time to sell that trophy card at that right price. Once a trophy card owner will have some event in their life where they need to sell the card, they list the card, fail to find a buyer, and start slashing the price just to move the card. That being said, if you can invest in the right card at the right price at the right time, it can work out for you. But for a long-term investment perspective, I would not and am not banking on Pokemon cards to pay for my retirement. I like that. What do you think? Oh, and at the end, he said, but remember, this is a niche market and is more risky than stock, bonds, and other traditional investment. I like your take on this. All yours.
And that was interesting because that was from a little while ago, I think, from the timestamp. I'm not
It
sure,
was.
but
It was.
which is wild to think about now. Obviously, in the short term, basically all of that was wrong, right? Because if you had loaded up on everything Pokemon in 2018, 19, you would look like a complete genius right now. Yeah, so I think that, trophy cards are an interesting animal, right? We can tackle that one first. So I think that assuming that like the IP and Pokemon is a hobby and people still are around for this hobby for the long run, there will be value in some of those very, very rare cards. Like we've seen the same thing in sports, right? With very, very vintage, rare, scarce cards, right? Like an Onus Wagner card, for example, where even in a lower quality grade of a player that no one knows anything about, really, right? Like, who really knows like a ton about Honus Wagner? But people know that card, right, in the collecting community, and they'll be interested in it, and there's going to be like buyers for that over time, right? Even though it's like no one grew up with it, there's no nostalgia associated with that card. Like everyone who basically saw that guy play is probably dead. I have no idea. Like, I don't even know what year it is. But with trophy cards, it's like it's that same kind of idea where they're going to be these very like rare, low population, some of them unique cards over time, that there will probably be buyers for, but it'll be a scenario where once they go into certain collectors' hands, they will stay there for a very long time. Very, very, very long time. Like, there's guys who are I won't name names, but are creating more liquidity in the trophy card market right now by facilitating buying and selling. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I interrupt you for a bit?
Yeah.
I understand what that word means, but can you please explain it to perhaps the viewers that don't
Yeah,
understand
yeah,
it?
yeah. Liquidity.
Yes.
Liquidity. Yeah. So basically, how liquid or illiquid something is when you're buying and selling it is basically the ease of the ability to buy and sell it, right? So let's compare a stock with a Pokemon card. Okay. I can go on my phone anytime between the hours of 9:30 and 4 on a weekday. And if I have a share of Apple stock, I can click the button and sell it. And instantaneously, there is a buyer on the other side for that. With a Pokemon card, I have to list it on eBay. Maybe I do a 7-day auction. Maybe I list it, buy it now. No one might bid on that card. Someone might, buy it 6 months from now if I list it as buy it now. But the amount of liquidity in collectibles is different because the simple quantity of demand for any specific item at a specific price point doesn't exist in an exorbitant magnitude, right? Whereas with like something like stocks or something much more like useful, like even, I don't know, like a computer or a cell phone or what have you, there's a multitude of buyers at a multitude of price points, right? With Pokemon cards, there's a much smaller pool of buyers at very specific price points, right? And the higher those price points get in this hobby, there's less and less people who can pay $100,000 for a piece of cardboard, right? And so what is happening is you're seeing people who are buying some of these cards using capital they have just in order to be able to sell it to the next person at a slightly higher amount, right? Kind of as a shorter term investment flip that's almost creating this false sense of liquidity. So if you have a very, very rare card, eventually it gets into the hands of someone who truly wants it for their collection, and then it might disappear for 50 years, right? So that's what we're seeing now is we're seeing this idea of like people getting used to being able to really go on eBay and find anything they want in their collection and be able to buy it really at any price point. But eventually it'll become, for a lot of these things, they go into the hands of collectors and they disappear forever if they're a truly rare, scarce, highly sought after item. And that's what creates true value. But the problem is that a lot of things are going to stay with this constant amount of supply, because they're very common and not rare at all. And because of that, the long-term value proposition of them is very low, because one of the biggest things about collecting is the rare scarcity aspect of it. And if it's always available and anyone can have it, how much are people really going to be willing to pay, right? But if it's uber rare and there's 1 or 2 or 5 of them in the world, and it only comes up on eBay or an auction house once every 5 years, 2 years, 20 years, like that incites a high amount of demand and a high price at any one given point. But just going back to the original question, basically it's that collectibles inherently are highly illiquid, meaning they are difficult to sell. They have high transaction costs. They have barriers to the marketplace, right? You have to set up an eBay account. You have to pay fees. You have to take pictures. You have to do the shipping. The buyer might get mad and send it back to you. When I sell a share of Apple stock, it's gone in a millisecond and they can't send it back to me. It's over. I have cash. But with a Pokemon card or a piece of art or a vintage car, you've got a small buyer pool. You've got, a more higher friction in your transaction, right? There's more costs. It's not as simple. All those things kind of come together, and we've seen people try to mitigate, right? There's one of the first big, not first big, but yeah, like the first significant, like true pure investment I made in Pokemon when I saw something and was like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to make a true return, was buying a portion of a first edition PSA 10 base set through an app called Rally Road. And what they do is they take an item like the base set, first edition set of Pokemon cards, PSA 10, or a vintage car or a Rolex, and they allow you to buy a small sliver of it. And so it creates a little more liquidity in an item that would otherwise be highly illiquid and inaccessible. So we're seeing people try to do that, right? Or create these marketplaces where it's like daily liquidity for collectibles, right? Where they own the collectible, they issue shares of it, and it can trade just like a stock. But I don't know if that will catch on in the way people think it will, or that if it's like, what happens if there's basically a run on the bank, right? And everyone wants to sell their ownership and the asset isn't worth the collateral to pay all those people out. Like, you run into a real issue with something like that, because then they have to sell it at a certain price point to cover themselves. And it's kind of a mess. There's a lot that goes on there, but yeah, that's
absolutely true.
liquidity.
It's basically,
I can
to
ramble
sum it up.
sometimes. Sorry.
No, I love it. It's basically, to sum it up, liquidity is how fast can you sell the darn thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much. That's how I that's how fast can
Yeah.
you sell it? And Asuka made a great analogy, and I loved it. I loved it. With Pokemon, these high-end cards, it's like hot
Mhm.
potato. Who can throw it faster? And who's going to end up
Yeah.
burning
He
themselves?
gets left
I
holding
love
the
it.
bag.
I love
Yep.
it. I love it.
Yep.
I do want to make a quick comment. So you guys know about black and white. This is one of my good friends. He likes to troll me all the time. That's okay. My friends like to troll me. I troll them back deeply. And he is a black and white. This guy hoards a bunch of sealed booster boxes. Him. If you guys want to buy a booster box, him.
Black and white to the moon.
See, that's it. He's just pumping his own product. But then he also said this. He also said this. They didn't do well in 08, 09 because the sets were trash and the cards weren't good, which is black and white.
That's funny.
White. I'm a little bit confused here.
Well, here's the thing.
Confused here. I was just trolling with him. He's really funny. He's
That's
my friend.
funny. So what that guy said in that post that you put up, effectively, the problem is when there's a significant black swan event, like the housing crisis of 08 or the pandemic of 2020, correlations all go to one, meaning that in an event that no one can possibly foresee, which is a black swan, no level of diversification can truly save you in a certain period of time. That could be a day or a week or a month. But for example, you saw, everything sold off, right? When COVID hit and everyone freaked out, the market tanked, fastest bear market in market history. Stocks went down, bonds went down. People were fire sailing anything they could possibly do to turn it into cash because they were completely fearful, right? And so that's why, like, as a long-term investment, when a black swan event happens, like, people just want cash. It doesn't matter if they're holding stocks or they're holding coins or whatever. Like, they want to have cash because they're scared, right? Like, that's that's what people do, right? That's
Oh
fear.
yeah. When you buy a house, that's when the offer is like, we have cash. You're like, okay, it's a little
Yes.
bit more tempting. Even though when you go through escrow, you get the cash in the end at the but they go, we got cash. Ooh,
We got cash
get
right
a little bit
now.
more
Right.
tempting, right? That's how I've
Bird in the
noticed
hand.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure you noticed it
So
when you go buy property. We have cash.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Especially now, it's insane. You basically have to pay cash or else you're screwed. And 20% over, and give them a puppy and
Well, I
a
live
free
in Orange
vacation.
County, so
Oh
absolutely true.
gosh. Yeah.
Absolutely
My
true.
brother lives out there. It's insane.
Absolutely true. Right now, I'm one of my friends in real estate. He told me the little trend that's going on in just Orange County. So, for example, if a property is estimated about 650,000, you list it
Hmm.
for 630,000, so people can compete. Someone's gonna
Yeah.
go, oh my goodness, we got it, and they will always overpay.
We
That's
got
one
a
of the
deal.
strategy.
And they'll still
That's
overpay.
their strategy. I'm like, oh, now I know. They're like, that's how you lure those people in. They're like, okay, we like the
Sounds a lot
house.
like WCC auctions.
Lure, oh,
Did I
okay.
say that?
Okay.
Uh-oh. Oh boy. Yeah. But
That's funny.
at any rate, oh, I feel like we're
We'll go here.
ignoring the chat. I'm bad
I
at this.
know, Coffee, I apologize for that. Although the economy is hurting, there's still abundance out there in the world. I apologize if the question didn't make sense. Abundance in the world. I'm not sure.
Like the
Abundance
world's
in the
better
world.
off probably than it's ever been in history, right? But there's always going to be periods of economic distress and recovery and boom and bust. And so
Mhm.
that's what I would say to that. Pokemon IP is worth, yep. Yeah, I think that was someone saying that, yeah, that this person is right. Like Disney, Pokemon couldn't buy Disney because how it works, like Nintendo owns a sliver of Pokemon, and then so does Game Freak. I think it's still Game Freak. I forget. Or no, who is it? Whatever. Anyway, but yeah, that just wouldn't exactly quite work.
That's
But it'd be
really
a cool
funny.
collab, maybe.
Mhm. Who's your favorite investor?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh man, who is my favorite investor? Probably my mom.
Oh, really? Ooh, I'm
Yeah.
interested about that. Ooh.
Over history. I mean,
Mhm.
I've been a big Buffett fan.
Mhm.
I think that things have changed materially in the world, but I still think that
Mhm.
Berkshire Hathaway is an amazing enterprise. Guys like Lynch, um, Ray Dalio. There's so many that are just beyond intelligent, and you can go all day like just reading about these guys and understanding their different philosophies on the world
Yeah.
and coming to your own conclusions from them. So there's so many good books by so many good investors that I would
Yeah.
highly recommend people read.
Yeah. Buffett, I was watching a little bit about him, and someone asked him
Hmm.
in the audience says, "What is one of the worst investment?" And he said, and
Hmm.
this is his mic, "How much time do you have?" It was investing, right? But then I've
That's
always
the thing about Buffett that I
Mhm.
love. And this is funny because it makes me think about people in the Pokemon hobby. Like you never hear people talk about their losses because they're highly insecure and they're really not that good at like investing. But like the best investors in the world will always tell you about the things they were wrong about because they always figured out how to make themselves better because of those mistakes. Like I've made mistakes in my investing career, and I recently made a significant one from my personal standpoint. Like it didn't hurt me like in a crazy way, but I looked back on it and I was like, wow, I need to learn from this because me not staying disciplined to this, thesis I had hurt me, right? And being able to like recognize that is super important. Um, but people only like to show their wins, especially now, because it's all like for the gram and
well,
not
well,
for actual
they
reality.
probably there's an agenda to it, right? Right? There's
Yeah,
an agenda to it, right?
yeah,
And to think about this, it's kind of human nature and just more falls into
like the
perhaps
psychology
the
idea. Yeah,
psychology of it, right? As in, like, why would
yeah,
I listen to this guy when he lost a bunch of money on this, right? That's the thing.
right.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
Whether I
Well,
have
it's
a
because you're
nice
only
house,
as
I
good.
bought all of this. Listen to me,
Look
that
at my
kind of sort of thing.
Maserati. It's because we live in a society where it's like, what have you done for me lately? Right? Like people
Mhm,
are only
mhm.
as good as like the very last thing they did for you, because people's attention spans are like 2 seconds long. So you can't like show losses or like weakness, because you get eviscerated in this,
Yeah,
weird world we live in now.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's funny, Buffett actually said 2 best investment, right? 2 best investment advice. I loved it. I loved it, loved it, loved this, and I always share it to the people that watched. What's number 1?
yeah.
Invest in yourself. Number 2, your spouse. Invest
Mm,
the spouse, and I'm like, "That is so true."
nice.
I was thinking about it, and I did, family law for a little bit. I'm like,
Hmm.
"Wow, now I see what he means." Jessica
Yeah.
Simpson, the singer? Right?
Yeah.
So they asked her, "What is the worst investment?" She said. "And what's the worst investment you did?" Oh my gosh,
Was it
she's
Tony
so
Romo?
no, close. She goes, "Nick Lachey, my
Oh,
first
that's
husband."
funny.
Because
That's
she
funny.
made more money than him when they divorced. Guess who
Got screwed.
paid
No
who?
prenup.
And she was
Yeah.
like, "Crap, crap." That she's like, "Crap." But I thought it was
Yeah.
really fun. And then all of it, it just makes perfect sense. I'm like, "Wow," because the person that you married, now totally going off tangent, you guys, but the
No,
person that you
yeah,
married,
good.
and if it doesn't work out, wow, it's all monetary as well.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
"Hmm, that
And
is
part
really
of it
cool."
too is like the
Mhm,
idea of like
mhm.
relationships, right? Like they're the
Yeah.
most valuable thing that you can really have. And
Mhm,
something I found in this hobby is that I've met like some really incredible people who I've been able to connect with and have like facilitated things far beyond this hobby, as far as like personal growth and like having common ideas and goals and all those things. And like it's super
mhm.
important to like in not only like surround yourself with the best people, but like invest in those people too, like give back to them, take care of them, because it's very like
I agree.
symbiotic when you create a great community. So it's
Correct,
very true.
correct,
Like
correct.
you have
Surround
to do
yourself
that.
with good, ethical people, I've learned.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ethical. Hey, Steve, how are you? Hey, Z, no problem. No problem. 20 copies. This is a good question.
Hmm.
Because I did a bit of NFTs, and because I had help with two great friends, we
Yeah.
eventually sold it. So, but I'm not an expert in this. I'm not going to even go
Hmm.
deep. But if you have any thoughts, let me know. Any thoughts on NFTs,
Sure.
especially NBA Top Shot? Top
Yeah.
Shot.
Top Shot, honestly, I just like don't get it. Like I don't get the value proposition. I understand that like the NBA and basketball is the like most global ubiquitous sport out there. So I understand like the draw, but we've seen it, right? Like we've seen it got super hyped up and now it's really, really taken a beating and fallen off. I don't like totally. So it's funny because I'm a big collectibles guy, and I'm a fairly educated and long tenured digital asset cryptocurrency guy. But the specific areas of NFTs that are like more popular now, like Top Shot, I'm like, I can go watch LeBron dunk on YouTube. Like I just, and I know that's like the simple like cop out answer for Top Shot, but I just don't really understand like the value proposition there. Like, I think there's ways that NFTs in the collectibles realm could be super interesting. Where I really see it, and I've talked about Jess from Geeked Out about this before, and a couple other friends, is um, imagine we wanted to do this, but we wanted to do it in a virtual reality setting, right? So we would both have something like an Oculus headset. We would meet in a virtual piece of real estate, like a house or an apartment or a flat. There would be NFT based, which would be an NFT, right? That piece of property. There would be NFT based albums playing in the background. There would be NFT art on the walls of that virtual home. We would have NFT skins, shirts and pants and t-shirts, all that stuff like that, and then having a marketplace to buy and sell all of those things. Like I very much see that like being a potential if VR truly takes off, and someone like a Facebook building a marketplace and a space for that, which is why they've dumped so much money into virtual reality, into spatial audio and all of those things, because they think that could be the next forefront, I think. So I think in that and then that kind of bleeds into video games too, right? Like skins in video games and items and weapons and all those things could all be NFTs effectively, right? So there's like a big opportunity there for those things. But like with Top Shot, I don't totally get it, right? And I'm sure I'll probably be wrong, and that's fine. But I wouldn't want to give up my Ethereum for a video of LeBron dunking. I just think it's far too valuable. So,
It's
um,
LeBron here, all right? Where's Hefe?
LeBron.
There's LeBron here, right? Didn't he win the championship in the bubble? Okay, I'm knocking here. I'll stop it. I'm just joking, you guys. I have no problem with LeBron. I just really like my Clippers, but totally get it. Totally get it. I mean, we will see him. It's not that I think it's very speculative as well with NFTs. That I think
Oh,
it's
for
very
sure.
speculative.
It's just,
Hmm.
digital assets as a whole are in
Hmm.
super early stages, right? So
Hmm.
NFTs are like, it's like a baby having a baby. It's
Hmm.
like in the earliest, it's insane. Like it's highly speculative. It could be literally the next biggest thing ever, but we don't know. Lego, I love that.
Lego, Lego, Lego,
Lego.
Lego, Lego.
Oh,
Uh,
that's funny.
um. Oh my God! What is Skip Bayless says? Le enko. Oh, that's really funny.
Oh,
Okay, I just totally want to make sure did not skip anything. I'm not too sure
I
what
think
James
that's
means by
true.
this.
Oh, a
A
lot of
lot.
brokers adding to. Yeah, I think so. Um, yes, in that I think those items, like so example, like people brokering box deals. Like I
Mhm,
think those sealed boxes would sell eventually, but I know just like from my experience, connecting people have
mhm,
accelerated the ease of sale of an item, right?
mhm.
So I mean, I didn't get paid for it, but just because I like to connect people, it's kind of what I do. Um, I think it's a very good habit to have is connecting people for their mutual benefit out of the goodness of your heart can lead to very good things in the future, right? So give it away a little bit because it'll come back to you. But I think like just doing that, like if your definition of liquidity is effectively how fast and easily can you sell it, then yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what a broker is there for. They're there to provide liquidity to the market space, and yeah, I mean, those boxes would probably sell, but it could take someone 5 years, and now like that, it got sold because it's it's just helping the demand meet the supply. And that's all it is. So
Correct.
yeah, I think
Correct.
so.
Correct.
There's
High-end
another
purchases
this
quickly
one.
move when they hit four figures because of anxiety, and then some people just don't want to cooperate.
Yeah,
That's true too. I mean,
I
who
have
does
I have
want
a
to have six figures to pay a card? I mean,
I have a rule where like I have
mhm,
a set amount that I would ever pay for an individual card, largely
mhm,
because of like how kind of not investable I see like buying
mhm,
slabs as, like unless it's like
mhm,
a crazy rare, you know, unique card. And even then that comes with its own risk. But yeah,
mhm,
I mean, the higher you go, most
mhm,
people can throw, I don't know. Most people who have the discretionary income to be in this hobby can throw 20, $30 at I don't know, like a PSA 9 unlimited
mhm,
common slab, right? But when you're talking about 1,000, 2,000, $10,000 for a single slab, like the buyer pool really shrinks for that.
I
And
agree.
people
Yeah.
make mistakes, like we
Mhm.
saw it with, there's a lot there, but I talked about it in one of my videos with the Tops on Charizard. Like
Yeah.
there can be a lot of fear and anxiety even at those high levels of dollars, and people just let it go to get rid of it and try to recoup something back. So I
Yeah.
honestly, personally, I'll just say I wouldn't want to buy a card for more than $500 ever. Like it just for me personally and my risk profile, that's like about my threshold, because I think about if I was going to put that money into the hobby, I could probably buy something sealed instead that made more sense. And that's just kind of how, that's like my kind of personal discipline I've come to the realization of, especially now with how just insane things have been. It just makes me uneasy to throw a lot of money at a card like that. And that's just me personally. It's just,
No, I completely
just
understand there's a trust level. I think mine's 1,000, and that's like really pushing it. But you gotta
yeah,
keep in mind that I bought all these cards back then when they were like penny on the dollars.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
thing. And
It's
I've
basically
got
free.
yeah. So we're gonna talk more because I have a lot of things to talk to you about. And I really
Yeah.
thought that that what we had offline was a great conversation. But I don't want to ignore the comments. So any
Yeah.
recommendation on investing slash finance? Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. There's, let me see, is my live? I've got some over there. Intelligent Investor by Ben Graham is a great one. Let me see if I got anything else over here. I would start there. I'm just seeing if I have so many bookshelves. I ran away, but yeah, Intelligent Investor by Ben Graham is a great book to start. I would start there. So
No problem. Basically, digital has 98 degrees. Drew from 98 Degree was pretty attractive. Okay, I'm going off topic. I think the fact that you own would own an NBA clip would be the same as says, why would I buy a Pokemon card when I Google the image?
yeah, I get that.
Mhm,
But when I own like a slab,
mhm,
and let me try to see how I want to say this. Like when I own this card, right? It has a specific, kind of like an NFT, has a specific unique identifier, right? The certification number. No one else at the same exact time can hold this physical slab, but with an NFT, I can just go on YouTube and watch literally the exact same thing. Now, yes, you own it, but like it's it doesn't have a physical presence at all. And that's what I think makes it more difficult for me from like a collectible standpoint. Like if it was a unique like I don't know if Pokemon made like cards that were only available as like in a digital binder or whatever, like that seems a little different because it is like truly unique. And the thing with NFTs is hard is like even like NFT art, like you can change a couple pixels and then it's no longer like it can be a new one effectively, right? Like so like how unique really is it? I don't know. It's just I struggle with it. I do. And I love digital assets. Like I think blockchain technology is amazing. Like I am a pretty bullish person when it comes to blockchain and crypto and
mhm.
specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum, but among others. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
Sorry, this question NFTs, I'm out. So hopefully that answered your question, Yangi. But how important is branding when it comes to selling? Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, I think it's super important. And by that I'm like mean like having built a following and an identity and people knowing what you stand for
Hmm.
and who you are and
Hmm.
like it's really hard to like just go as a random person and go like set up an eBay store and
Hmm.
sell into an illiquid market, right? Like
Yeah.
you could do that last year, like into the fall hype and into kind of Christmas time, like because if you weren't able to sell then, you could basically never. But I think that's why guys exist like these auction houses, like Travis, like PWCC, because the brand attracts buyers. Like it's very simple. They trust and know that brand and they will buy from them. It
Exactly.
doesn't
Like going
matter if the
twice.
card,
Hmm.
right? Yeah,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter if
Hmm.
going twice, it doesn't matter if they graded the card themselves or they bought it from someone. The person buying it on the other end from them just knows it's coming from them and they trust them because they've built a rapport with them. So I think it's incredibly important, you know,
Yeah, that's
or
very
guys like
true.
Squeaks or Mason or
Oh
whoever,
yeah,
like with it,
absolutely.
it's just like you buy from people you like, right?
Hmm.
Not just that
Hmm.
you trust, but like, and
Hmm.
sometimes people are willing to like pay up to buy from someone they like because it's Like I
Yeah.
know, for
Oh,
example,
absolutely.
I have a guy who his prices on sealed product have always been fair but a bit above market. But
Mhm.
I know they are without a shadow of a doubt 100% legit and of the
Mhm.
utmost quality. And I'm willing to buy them from him all day
Oh,
long
yeah.
before anyone
Oh, I
else
have,
because of
yeah.
the relationship we have
Mhm.
and because of the
Mhm.
quality of character and the
Mhm.
quality of product.
Correct. And I
Simple.
have people that, you know, email me, and I get a lot of emails. I apologize, you guys. I'm terrible at emails. I don't even reply to work emails. That's how bad I am sometimes, okay? But that's how bad I am sometimes. So I'm terrible, terrible, terrible with emails and Instagram. I'm just terrible with it. But I get a lot of people that say, "Hey, do you want to sell this and this and that?" And I was like, "Well, why don't you just buy on eBay?" They're like, "Well, I don't trust eBay. Well, I want to buy it from you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's
Mhm.
really sweet." But there's also people that I said, "Look, I need this box in a great minty condition." And I just ask a couple of my friends. They'll be like, "Okay, find it for you. Thank
Yeah.
you." And or they go, "I have it." And I trust them and I'm willing to pay a little bit
Mhm.
of a higher price because I trust my friends. Like I bought it's I guess I'll disclose this, but I'm buying the Cast Me Out whole Japanese collection. So, and,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, I bought all of her black and white, and again, not dissing black and white, but she was like, "Black and white's first to go, guys." So I bought her black and white, bought about 30 complete sets, and I'm buying now Wizard of the Coast. She's making a video and all that list, so I'm pretty excited. Oops, sorry. And
That's amazing.
she is giving me a pretty nice, cute little discount. I get cute, not cute, but she is a great friend, and she said, "I can trust you," and I said, "Oh, absolutely. You can
Mhm.
trust me. We've been friends for 10 years and I am not going to ruin my reputation over a transaction like this. And
Right.
most importantly, my friendship with you. So I'm pretty excited for that. That means
That's
I would have
amazing.
an almost complete set of English, except, the high end promos, but all of the releases in English and Japanese. I'm pretty excited. Oh,
You're chasing Dave, Dave
No,
Persian.
Dave, there's no way. I am in talks with him to get a nice minty undaunted box. That's what I'm waiting for.
Ooh,
So I really love Dave. Uncle Dave is
exciting.
amazing. King Pokemon. Oh, it's
Yeah.
really interesting. Oh, I need to talk to Gary. What is your favorite cryptocurrency to invest in? This is such a financial
Oh
advice.
God,
You
I
you
can't
want to shoot
answer
for
that.
it?
Can't
Okay,
answer
no
that. Do your
problem.
own research.
Do you invest in other cards outside Pokemon or Fortnite sports? Oh, that's a good question. I think this is an okay question. I think. Hopefully, not
Well,
too much for our
um,
financial advice, but
yeah, I would say invest being the key word. I have put a couple random things away just because mostly sealed. Um, I have a thesis around Harry Potter a little bit. I don't know if it'll play out, but I have put some of those boosters away and I have a blister there and I've got a sealed box over there. I have some Fortnite packs. I have some old Weiss Schwartz Sword Art Online packs. Um, or just because it was really, really low dollar value, low risk to buy that and just put it in my safe and not worry about it. Um, Sports cards, I would say more like sports memorabilia. So I've kept very specific items in my collection. I've been selling others around certain players that I've had. Um, so I guess you could consider that an investment, but um, actively not really. I'm more just trying to like enjoy other IPs, right? So like the Weiss Schwartz cards I pre-ordered. I just bought like the other day I bought some Power Rangers cards and I opened them because I thought that was kind of cool. Just like fun things here and there. But from an investment standpoint, no, um I really I only have so much capacity, right? Like I've seen things and trends, like stuff around Naruto, for example, got really interesting, and Squeaks knows a ton about that, who was in here. And I can only focus on so many things. Like I have a lot going on in my life, and I have, from an investing standpoint, I have a lot of areas that I can better put capital to use from an investment standpoint, right? Like I do on the side, I consult with startups and help them raise money and, do their financial projections and all of those things. So me, like, for example, I thought about it. I almost bought Wizards of the Coast box recently in the past like month or two. I was very close to pulling the trigger on it on a Japanese box. Beautiful, beautiful box. Was really excited about it, but I thought about the money that was going to cost me and what it was going to do to the capital I had available. And I was just thinking about yes, that could be a great investment. And 10 years from now, it could look awesome, but it also could be a crazy bubble that really bursts hard. So I thought about the things I could do with that capital, and I decided to put it elsewhere. So no, I don't really, I would say, invest specifically in other areas. Largely a function of I collect what I love. Like, another point I would make is that I only, like, even if I buy a card with the intention of probably selling it, whether it's been a raw one that I'm grading or a slab that I might let go down the road, I don't buy things that I don't like, right? So an example, like in the finance world, is that like I don't like when all this stuff happened with GameStop or with these alternate what coins in crypto land, like I don't really like or care to make money like that because I just don't care about it that much, and that's just my prerogative, I guess. And I don't know, I probably just am naive for doing that. But so when it comes to like collectibles, like I'm not going to, like, Fortnite's a good example. Like, I bought a couple packs of Series 2, but like I know nothing about Fortnite. I've never played the game. I never
Ask
will play the
Jessica.
game. Yes, Jess, she knows. She did it right. But like I only have so much headspace for so many things in the collectibles realm, and I just like to collect things I love, right? I love Pokemon. I love Harry Potter. I love anime. That's like more than enough for me to focus on just from an enjoyment standpoint, let alone like where I'm putting capital that I think actually can like earn a return over time. So yeah, it's I probably could do well if I spent more time on it, but you pick and choose the areas you want to spend, your time on. And we've got, PokeGal, we've got demanding careers that take a lot of our time, and
Did. Yeah, I
try
completely
to.
understand. I do.
Do
I
you
get
collect
it.
anything else? Are there any other TCGs or areas you're really passionate about or collect or invest in?
I collect a lot of games. I view guys.
Yeah.
This is. I'm a bit of a neat freak. I will admit it. But this side, I mean, you guys get the nice angle, okay? Okay. Except my face in it. But other than that, it's a pretty nice angle. But on this side, there's a pretty nice game collection that I do have. I admit I'm a bit of a hoarder when it comes to things that I
Mm,
like, and I think I with games I can't throw things away. I'm very
yeah.
sentimental, so I have all the Super Nintendos, all the
Wow.
everything. Yeah, it's sitting there. Though maybe one day I will show this side. But I have showed some of my
That's
Game
cool.
Boys of the Pokemon that I have. So I do other cards that I do collect, the Simpsons here and there. I do
Mm,
like Sailor Moon, but I'm not actively collecting.
mm,
I like the art and I do it, but I'm not actively collecting. But I do want to, and I've said on the stream multiple times, I do have capital to perhaps buy a little bit more, but I'm hoping to buy property. That is what my goal
nice.
is. I think that's a
Very
better
cool.
investment, because I really think at the end of the day, do people want a Charizard or they want a roof on their head? I'll probably pick,
Right.
yeah, probably pick the
It's
latter.
just about like it's about like percentage of net worth allocation, right? Like
Yeah,
you can't just dump all your money into like collectibles and Pokemon and all these things. Like it has to like be within reason, especially when there's just
correct,
such an insane hype period around it, right?
correct.
So,
Hmm.
it's the same way I look at like how we talk about to people with like digital
Hmm.
assets, like with crypto. Like you
Mhm.
kind of think about it like, okay, if you put 1% of your net worth in it and it goes to zero, that's not going to like destroy your life. But if it like 10x's, that's pretty meaningful. So
Mhm.
you just have to like kind of weigh that risk reward of how much like of your net worth you're tying up in these different areas. Um, so I know for me, like the only reason I can like really dabble in something like Pokemon, either from a quote unquote investing or just an enjoyment standpoint, is because I've got cash savings built up. I've got substantial investment assets that I've accrued over many years, whether it's retirement or
Correct.
after tax. I have different income streams and
Correct.
opportunities. And I know, like, at the end of the day, like, I have like kind of an entrepreneurial like investor mindset where I know I can always make something of myself even if I totally fall flat, right? You know, so like
Mhm.
I know that I can always kind of recover or
Mhm.
take risks because I have different like avenues to go down. So that's
Correct.
important. Like if people are like struggling to put food on the table, or if you have credit card debt, or you are, you know, paycheck to paycheck, like the thing it always, and like sometimes I'll tell people like don't do this, like they'll say like tomorrow is like payday so I can like buy this card from you, and I'm like maybe you shouldn't. Like if you need to wait for payday for like to buy $100 card from me, you probably shouldn't be doing that. Like just wait like 5 years until like you have like money saved up to like spend on these discretionary things. Like I really worry, the one thing I really worry about the most is that there's a lot of young people throwing money at quote unquote alternative investments, whether it's
Bingo.
crypto or Pokemon or whatever, and they haven't done the basic blocking and tackling of a savings account, of a Roth IRA, of, you know, funding their 401k through their employer, like all those simple things um, that are like the core, right? And these are just like kind of the satellite esoteric things that we're talking about, right? And that kind of goes back to that idea of like, is it a sliver of your portfolio from like an investment correlation standpoint? Or are you trying to make it like a business, like your true source of income? And then it's a totally different discussion. And then there's a third discussion of like, you just like to collect. So like do it intelligently and don't overpay for things, you know, like that's like kind of simple stuff, but or should be. But yeah, that idea of like, is it an investment or are you trying to create a business around it? That's that's important, I think, to distinguish because people are levering themselves. They are putting these hobbies in front of more basic needs. Like, and you might be fine now, right? Like you might not be paycheck to paycheck. You might be spending money on Pokemon cards whenever you want, but you're still like making a salary and you're paying your rent. You're doing fine, but you're not allowing for like wealth creation via like mathematical compounding on investments. You are like basically burning money in a lot of ways. And that's like, I just want people to be really careful about that. It's got to be like, it can't be 95% of your spending money goes to Pokemon and 5% goes to your savings account. Like you gotta flip the switch on that one. And that's something like I super worry about. Like there aren't even enough young people with savings accounts and investment accounts, much less like needing to like screw around with Dogecoin and Pokemon cards. Like it's, I don't know. It worries me a lot, honestly, for a lot of reasons.
I do know what you mean. In the end, Pokemon cards, cardboard, luxury goods, right? We
Yeah.
talked about this, and that's exactly why I showed that post. But again, without deep diving into more financial analysis, I'm just telling people what to spend, like a little bit about what I do. People come to me and says, "Okay, am I going to make money in this?" And I sit there, you know, I work for a bank, so I sit there and they pay me, and they'll argue with me, and they'll be like, "No, that's that's wrong. That's wrong. One, I don't think people like to hear the truth, right? And
Right.
I don't really watch a lot of PokeTubers, but I want to say something about ZNG Emporium. James,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Go him for making those videos. I finally start
Oh, they're
watching
the
some of the videos.
best.
I'm so sorry. I go
He's a man
him.
after my own
You
heart because he's
rock.
just like F it.
Go
Like just
for
I'm just gonna
go
tell it like it
him.
is.
Go
Yeah.
him, which I will message him to join me one day. Go you. If
Mhm.
you ever watching this, go you, James. So he calls him the truth bomb. I finally started watching some because I've been watching, my team
The
winning,
Clippers.
heading to the
Yeah.
championships. I stopped watching a lot of YouTube videos, so I've been. But
Yeah.
go him, Finally, I love those videos. Go him. But I think is that people don't want to hear the truth, right? The truth
No.
doesn't sell, even though they're paying me. The truth doesn't sell. They don't want to hear, and they hear what they believe, and that's where we come with the bias, right? That's called
Yeah.
bias confirmation.
And I think people
And
must think
mhm.
I hate Pokemon the way I talk about this stuff,
Oh, I
but
was saying here, they think I'm
it's
negative, and I'm just
crazy.
like,
Like
okay.
it's like being rationally bearish about overinflated asset prices doesn't seem that negative to me. It just seems rational because I can like come on, guy. Like I'll show these guys. Like I have a lot of Pokemon stuff. Like I love this hobby. I love freaking Pokemon. Like it's a huge
Sorry, can you do
part
it
of.
again? Because I did not
Oh
expand the
yeah.
screen. I apologize.
So no, it's fine. So like this is the desk where I do grading and I keep some of my
It's like
favorite
your
slabs here.
videos.
I've got some Harry Potter.
Mhm,
I've got Pokemon and Harry Potter over there, some, bobbleheads, a little more um, Pokemon and Harry Potter. And then out in my like living room, I have a lot of my Harry Potter, a lot of sports stuff. My walls are covered with art. I'm a big art guy. I think art's a really interesting area of investing slash collectible store of value too. Cause it's like it's fun because you can kind of like take a risk on like a lesser known artist that might like hit it big someday. But at least at the end of the day, you can like totally enjoy their art. Um, or you can buy like a really high end piece that, kind of holds or stores value over time. Um,
yeah.
and that's a massive market. I mean, my mom's a big art collector, so I kind of like grew up
Mhm,
around it. And
mhm.
so it's something I love. I've been really enjoying like a lot of the Pokemon artists. Like I just got this Evolutions print. Um, and I just bought another piece of art as well because it's just like it's a cool way to enjoy the hobby in a different way. Where like 5, 7 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, like these people weren't there, like because there wasn't enough demand for it, and there also weren't the social media platforms for them to like show it off. And that's something that excites me and makes me think like when that stuff dries up, that's when we know we have a problem. I think like we always focus on the cards and the sealed product, but when like all like those EVs and Pikachu, like when people stop wanting to buy that stuff, like there's tons of people who enjoy Pokemon and don't own any cards. Like they play Pokemon Go, they play the video games, they buy the
Mhm,
pins,
mhm,
they buy the
mhm.
t-shirts, they buy whatever. Um, like I was just at a friend's over Memorial Day weekend and they don't own any Pokemon cards and they freaking just dressed up as Jesse and James for Halloween like 2 years ago because they love the IP. They love Pokemon as it is. She loves Eevee. Like that's when we know we'll have a problem in this hobby when that stuff stops selling, in
Yeah,
my
that's
opinion.
true. Yeah.
Little
And
tangent, but
no problem. And to go back real quick, it's basically, right? And just a quick disclaimer, it's not saying that, don't spend money on the cards, right? Spend
right.
what you can, right? Let's say if
Yes.
you go and you buy the cards, you when you open packs, no, it's not investment. I'm just gonna say it not. I'm being firm on
Right.
that. No, it's not
It's
investment.
entertainment.
It's entertainment. Exactly. Know
Yeah.
that when you open these packs, it is entertainment that you're paying for an entertainment, right? And that's why I'm a firm believer in those Pokemon opening pack channels that are investment, are pure, pardon my language, bullshit.
Bullshit.
I'm telling.
Yeah.
Says I'll say it straight out. So, okay, you open my packs at a premium price. You're investing. There,
I saw something very interesting for the first. So there's a specific PokeTuber that I watch and enjoy as a fan, seeing the cards in his openings. He does them weekly. They're quite expensive vintage openings. And there was a set recently where the packs were over 1,000 each, which mathematically on the EV made no sense for what you could pull out of this set. And for usually what happens is like at the end, basically they go live on the website and they sell out in about a minute, right? I woke up the next morning and into the early morning and it was still like they were still there. Like there were still 7 or 8 or 10 available for purchase. And I thought that was really interesting because I felt like people were starting to wake up a little bit to the idea that like, oh wow, I don't think I should spend $1,000 on someone to rip a vintage pack for me that I don't even get to open myself, that has cards in it that aren't worth like more than like $100 maybe.
Good. I'm so excited. Good. That's
it would be a nice.
Okay. And the thing is, I want to talk to you about this, right? And just talking about just financial advice, right? Okay, with the free market, and people were like, when I spoke up against this, they were like, "You are nuts! This is the free market. You are nuts. They can do this. $1,000." I said, "Okay, let me tell you, the free market. If me put in these packs. Oh, by the way, you guys, we were giving away. I got a bunch of these packs. We were giving away some of these packs tonight.
Nice.
Anyways, what I was saying, okay. If I can list this pack, right? I said, you guys, it's out, it's here. $15 a pack. And I list it there. If someone wants to buy from my stream, they want to support it, go ahead. That's the free market, right? I'm listening, I'm not saying anything. But if I coupled it with Chillin' Rain is the best set that you can get. I guarantee you open from me, that it's gonna be worth $500. Just hold it in 20 years later. Get a PSA 10. That I'm gonna throw out a card. I don't even know that set very well. I'm new.
Me neither.
Throw me a side.
Oh God, what's
okay,
in it?
I'll throw it out.
Yeah.
Side. Okay, Celebi.
Yeah.
PSA 10 Celebi, guaranteed. Hold it 10 years, $500. You know what that is? That is financial advice. You have no way of saying that. You're giving people financial advice on what to invest in, what they're doing with the market. That
it's
is
literally like when it's literally like when hedge fund shorts go on CNBC or Bloomberg and talk down the stock that they are shorting. It's insanity to me how these guys are getting away. Like, I mean, I guess like, I mean, I have no idea how you even begin to start to regulate this stuff from like a YouTube standpoint, because I feel like they slap a disclaimer on there and they're like somehow covered. Like you would know better than me probably, but I'm like just trying to figure out like how these guys are not getting sued.
Well, the thing is that they, first of all, right, they are subject to liability. Okay, even with the disclaimer, man, we can still be subject to liability. But we said, you know what?
For sure.
We have said it multiple times. And do you know those disclaimers that the bank gives and all that mumble jumbo? Do you know who sits there and reads them and write them and review them?
Yeah,
it's very, very boring.
Yeah.
And they stay protected, even as a CFP yourself. You give any financial advice, you have that disclaimer. You make sure this is what they're going to do. This is a risk. They signed it, right?
Yeah.
And that's so much what to do. And those
we give them our financial all our disclosures up front.
There, exactly, out there. One day it's going to be to the wrong person, and you never want to mess with money. My goodness, with money,
Yeah.
you never want to mess with people. When they lose money, you will not know what people will do to you. And it's crazy. They'll be subject to liability. And a lot of people think, there's a lot of laws that protect the buyer as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So, for example, not giving legal advice, but I'm just telling you, explaining. So, for example, if there is a folder full of first edition Shadowless Charizard, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if the buyer who's not knowledgeable on those cards, they go up to you and you are a self-proclaimed expert and you said, and you know those cards are worth a lot of money, and you tell that person, those cards are junk. It's worth $2. I'll give you $10 for that card. And you knowingly lie to them and represent them that
Mm-hmm.
fact. And they found out later on, they can bring you to court and get what you sold
Yeah.
it for. That I'm telling you guys, the laws out there are crazy. They're protected. And the people that are giving out these crazy financial advice, all that on YouTube, one day it's
I
gonna
think
come.
that's
And
something, well, what people don't think about, I've never heard this said
Mhm.
before, but I don't consume enough content to probably have heard it. But are people talking about how that's kind of a risk to this whole hobby, right? Like the
Mhm.
last thing we need is some major YouTuber,
I
Pokemon
agree.
YouTuber getting caught up in a legal scandal. Think about what that would do.
I
Talk about
agree.
talk about a talk about a downside black swan event for the investing portion of this hobby. People would be like, people like make that joke like Charizard can't tear his ACL, so like Pokemon's safer than, you know, whatever sports cards, or like Pikachu's not gonna like make a racist comment or like whatever. Like, yeah, but what if like one of the humans who's a very big piece of the forward facing brand nowadays, like on YouTube, makes a major mistake? Imagine what that does to this hobby. Um,
Mhm.
I don't think people think about risks like that enough. People don't think about risk at all enough, but much less the kind of more
Yeah.
esoteric yet still viable ones.
Yeah. And
Crazy.
it's true. It's actually very, very true. But to me, I think one, you're misleading your consumer, right? And I always
Yeah.
make this joke, like a rock can cost a ripple. So basically, one person gives out bad investment advice. There's a bunch of groups that goes in, and they're if you don't speak out against that, that's your consumer base. Okay, they're gonna leave. They're going to leave. And when I saw this channel, they were like, man, you are negative. I'm like, I'm very straightforward. I speak how it is. I've been up and down, up and down. And it is what it is. But I think it's
There's going to be a lot of consolidation in the
mhm,
social media space around Pokemon
mhm.
because it's getting harder to make money in a very easy fashion. It's still pretty easy, but the harder it gets, the more it'll consolidate, the more those people will go away. The problem is a lot of people are going to get screwed in the interim by making
Exactly.
really uneducated
Exactly.
decisions. Well, and
Exactly.
that's why you and I like are doing the things we're doing, right? Like, yes, we love this hobby. Yes, we love to be involved in the community, but like a big part of why, like, even if I don't want to make a video on a Sunday, I do it is because I hope that at least one person will watch it and not make a bad decision, right? Like, it's just like trying to protect people from themselves. So, oh, predictions. What do we got here? When do you predict most of the cards backed up? Oh, good question.
I
And a
do.
good,
That's a
this is a
great
really good
question.
question.
I'm gonna step out because I need to use the restroom real quick. I'm gonna step
Go
out for
for it.
2 minutes while you answer this, okay? I'll
Go
be right
for it.
back.
Okay. Thomas. So, this is what I think. I think that there's kind of two camps, right? There's one camp that says as soon as these cards get back, people are just going to flood the market. And there's another side that says people are going to be a little smarter than that and kind of drip it in, drip it in, drip it in. I think it's going to be a little bit of both. I think there's people who are really bad at planning for the amount of capital they were going to need to grade those cards. So they're going to have to fire sale some of the ones that they get back to cover themselves. I think that there's much smarter sellers who sell into every market, but in a very more disciplined fashion. I think that, you know, we've assuming that the prices were real across the board that we saw in a lot of these auctions into the hype of the end of last year, we've seen a pretty significant retrace. Certain pockets of the market are starting to look more attractive from a buying standpoint. I think it just depends on what area of the market you're talking about, right? Like, how can I say this? So, what I think is that a lot of the slabs that are coming back from grading are not going to be very high on the rating scale, meaning you're going to see a lot of like 3, 4, 5, 6s come back, and those part of populations report, even 7s, really fill out. Because I feel like during the hype period of like last October, November, everyone with a shoebox of Pokemon cards in their mom's closet grabbed them and sent them to PSA. And so because of that, I think that there's going to be like a lot of like really low quality slabs that come onto the market. So it just kind of depends what you're looking for. Like, there's certain cards that right now are a pretty decent buy if they're rare enough. Like if it's something you want for your collection and it only comes up every once in a while and it's a reasonable price. But there's a lot of things like I would say a good example would be, there's one modern card that I want more than any other modern card, and it's a Crimson Invasion Gyarados, the rainbow one. I think it's awesome, but I will wait 5 years to buy that card. Like, I will wait until either I'm proven wrong and there's not that many of them and it's still $100 or $150 or $200, and I'll eat my hat and I'll buy it, or I won't. Or I will be right and I will be able to get it for $20 when there's 10,000 of them in the population. So I think it really depends like which part of the market you're looking at and what kind of card you're looking at. So how about you, PokeGal? What do you think?
Well, this is what I'm gonna go another tangent. I've answered this question a couple of times. I'm not sure Thomas is new to the channel, but I'll definitely answer what I think for you
Mm-hmm.
and Thomas if he's new, or a lot of people follow me know that I'm knowing. Okay, I think that a lot of people that started new collectors, they come in, right, and they reach out to me very privately. They go, "Wow, I'm losing money. Why am I losing money?" Okay. I'm like, well, did you factor everything? Did you factor the grading cost? Did you factor that perhaps it takes 6 months and a year to get your cards back? No, not really. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, did you factor perhaps you will get a PSA 9? No. No, they were shocked. Like the cards that they come back, they're like, what, a 9? Like, you probably didn't know how hard it is to get a 10, right? They're like, well, I open it pack fresh. I'm like, well, pack fresh doesn't mean it's a 10, right? That's their selling
It's
point.
nothing.
I do think that I think a lot of people overextend themselves with Pokemon. I do. I do
Mm-hmm.
think that once the slab comes back, and I see it right now, they're gonna sell and they're gonna undercut a lot. And the people are trying to undercut everybody. My local
Yeah.
card shop gave me a call about 2 weeks ago and says, look, I got a bunch of people selling their PSA cards, selling their grading cards, CGC mostly. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think it's a good deal to buy them? And do you think there's a market for it? I said, buy low and sell. The exactly way you do. Yeah, you'll get
Yeah.
people that'll buy it, right? But you got to know your basic of business, how to perhaps
Right. Because
get
they
the
just
most
got to
profit.
make,
Correct.
a little
Exactly.
margin,
You don't have an
right?
overhead.
Yeah.
So
They
I
don't have
do
to hit doubles.
oh,
They just got to make like
oh,
a
I do
15%
think
margin. They'll be
oh,
fine.
I do think it's gonna be flooded. To me, my
Yeah.
that's my opinion. I do think it's gonna be flooded. I think we're just hitting just a little bit of it that's gonna keep on going, and that's my honest opinion. Don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong, I am buying collections, I'm buying here and there, but I have to
Mm-hmm.
look and be like, if I think that card's gonna go lower, I wait. I
Yeah.
completely wait. So,
I've been getting a lot of offers on cards lately and
likewise.
I'm
Mhm.
walking away. Like
Yeah.
I'm like at this point in the game, I'm like very hyper focused on very specific items that I want for the
Mhm.
long term in my collection.
Mhm.
And I've got, I have enough capital that I think you've mentioned this, like we have enough capital to kind of do what we want here, but it's like
Yeah.
only so much I want to spend on the hobby, right? I'll have grading fees, you'll have grading fees. How long, like when you were sending in cards, like, because for me, like to send in, 150 to 200 cards, I basically did it monthly for a period of like 6 months. I'll send a few more, this month. My self grade, like pre-grading process takes a pretty long time. Like I self grade all 4 areas of the card. So surface, centering, corners, and edges. I put it all into a spreadsheet that I've got my card cost, my grading cost, which company it went to, what my total cost is. And then eventually I'll like put in, what the, potential ROIs could be. And then I, self grade it, to the full grade will be an 8.5, a 9. I'd say I'm pretty harsh on myself just because I'm like an attention to detail person. So I catch
Likewise.
things with cards. How did you go about grading like that many cards? Like, how did you know like how truly mint that many cards are? Like, how do you do that? Or do you take the philosophy of like, I know I'm going to hit on enough of these where it's going to like matter, or it's going to like move the needle and I'm going to be fine, even if, 10% of them come back 7s or something.
Gotcha. So, as I said, back then I collected for a while. It was way before for 20 something years. I bought these cards back then, and I had the luxury to sit there and like look at the cards. When I buy them initially, I'm like, this card's bad. I'm not taking them, right? It's only $5. Nope, not buying it, right? So I had the luxury to be extremely nitpicky. So a lot of the cards that I sent are pretty nice shape, right? I'm sure
Right.
some of it are OC, some of it's not, but I'm very, very picky. I'm pretty sure the people that watch me on the stream, I'm like, damage. And that's the scratch damage. So I'm pretty nitpicky. But regardless of what I send it in or not, I told on going twice, and they did said it too. I will most likely make a profit, right? Because I got those cards back
Because your
then.
cost
Way
basis
then.
is so low, it's entry point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Regardless. And I did it by
Like
about
I don't,
200.
for me, I wouldn't send anything in. And I wouldn't send anything in for me personally, unless whether I was going to sell it or it was for me, that I didn't feel like I could break even to like what that card would probably be worth. Like, if I could just buy it on the market as a slab, right? Like it's, I mean, I like to have a lot more upside than that, but like at least that's like a little margin of safety. But to your point, sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, that's
Oh, no,
that's
not at all.
so.
No, not at all. And I also wanted to think about, okay, so that's me. I'm very lucky on that point because I got these cards back then. I'm like, well, I'm very picky. I sent it in. Second, I was gonna think, how the hell, apologize again, am I gonna pay for this, right? So me and the cat's meowth, we were supposed to submit together, and she has about like thousands of cards, and they're excellent shape. She's as picky as I am. I don't think we'll make I don't even think we'll even make a dent on the PSA 10, but I think we'll probably make a good number of PSA 9. I do think so, because I can look at the card and says, I think that can pull a 9. My number one rule is if I ever buy a card here but I don't really apply it because I have a lot of the cards. But I think with modern cards is that whatever I pay, I don't look at a PSA 10. I look at a PSA 9. 9, right?
Oh yeah. It's
That's
always,
what
you always look at it one
correct.
grade below, like what you think it
Correct.
could grade.
That's what I
And
look at.
that gives you a better, the hard part is like, if people were doing that like in November and sending cards in, they're screwed. Because even if they did that with a margin of safety, those thinking they were 10s could have been 9s. Even if they come back, that the prices have fallen so much, there's going to be a lot of people still underwater.
Oh yeah.
Which is
And I
going
think
to be
people will, I think
rough.
most, and I'm using the word most, will be rushed to sell their collection. The people that are in it for the wrong
Absolutely.
reason, they'll be rushed to sell it.
They can't wait to sell those when they get them
Oh
back.
yeah.
That's the luxury. Like every card I get back, I could sit on them forever. It doesn't matter. Like and like people trying to do this for like that flip, like again, going to the illiquidity, like this is the friction of the market. The amount of time it takes to go from
Exactly.
purchasing the card to being
Yes.
able to even theoretically sell it.
Yes.
People don't understand how much can change. Like, collectibles are very predictable in the long term, but very unpredictable in the short term. And I don't think this past 18 months has there's been no better example of that, right? Because over long periods, we kind of understand, it's kind of the store value inflation story, but no one could have guessed that Pokemon would 10 to 20x in 2020. Like, there's just no one that knew that. Like, even Jake from Pokenomics talks about it, right? Where he always thought the ability was there, but like basically it's what we talked about before, like that compression of like an additional 5 to 10 years of returns got shrunk down into a very, very short period of time. And you become a seller at that point, if you're an investor, right? A value investor. So no, I think that's very, very true.
Yeah. And I do
very
think,
true.
I do think the people that are making the most money are the people that bought during the dip and are selling now. I firmly believe it. I firmly believe that. And I think the people that are hopping on now, I think it's going to be way harder.
Yeah, now's way harder. I
At
mean,
least
even
that's what
like,
I think.
yeah, well, even though it's like, because it's like retraced, right? Like I talked about since, the peak, like it's still like you've still like seen an incredible amount of return in a very short period of time. And people got to realize that's unsustainable, right? So there's going to be a lot of dead money in this hobby for a long time, right? Where people are either at or underwater on items for like maybe a decade, like, or forever. Like there are cards that people have bought in slabs that they will never financially recover from. They will never get there. Never. They couldn't sell enough in the rest of their collection to recover what they've lost on some singular items, right? Like it's just but that's like, it's just like investor psychology. It's the nature of the beast. It's how it goes, and it's a shame. But for every winner, there has to be a loser, right? Like that's how markets work, right? So unfortunately, it's like what you said before. It's whoever's left with the hot potato or left holding the bag. Like someone's always the buyer at the peak. Someone's always buying, dumb stock at $100 when it's going to go to $1. Right. So James goes, is now the right time to buy Bellsprout? Yes.
No, God, I hate that Pokemon.
Always time to buy Bellsprout.
Oh, do not yell it. Oh my Lord. Oh my goodness. Oh, we're gonna go back to the comments real quick.
Funny. Yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna invite the king of Bellsprouts on stream. So I'm pretty excited. Yegi Western, how do you feel? All yours.
Oh God. It's going to 0 probably. These we've already been demonetized, so these shit coins are the worst. Like they are just like unlimited supply, controlled by one person. It just makes me so like the thing that I hate the most about like Dogecoin and Shiba Inu and all these other words I can't say on the internet because it's profanity coin. It gives so much discredit to like the actual value proposition and reality of like blockchain and Bitcoin and Ethereum and a couple other ones. So it's frustrating. It's the same way, like for me, that I really get annoyed by the whole GameStop AMC game, because it just brings complete discredit to the financial markets. Like the stock market is not a place to like play games. Like it's just not. So it frustrates me. But anywho,
yeah, that's really funny. I'm talking with Uncle Dave to buy a Undaunted booster box. So
ooh.
Just a guess. They wanted to know how much do the PokeTubers make. I can answer that. Nada.
Please
zero.
Do.
Zero.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to use it. I could have sworn to you. I logged in my app like about a week ago. It says 0. I'm like, damn.
There's something about like you have to you have to have a certain amount of followers for a sustained amount of time, and then you have to get people to watch videos for a certain like length of time. Like, and I forget what, I don't know. One of my friends who has a channel has talked to me about it. I have a couple guys who I know who are, one guy's like a bigger one, not in the Pokemon world, and he does okay, but not, it's not a lot. If you wait 5 years, Pokemon will leave you in the dust, and they know it.
I apologize
gonna
for a
print
little bit
the-
of a troll, but that's okay. You know, trolls are welcome, but they unfortunately get blocked really quickly.
Funny.
That's not. That's really not nice. You know, your mother should teach you a little bit better than saying those insensitive comments, my dear. But
So
anyways,
mean.
uh, receding. They said this is not a receding hairline. This is actually a widow's peak. But you know,
Widow's Peak.
a widow's peak. It's really fun. I always make a joke, but you know, it's actually not a receding hairline. It is a widow's peak. But I actually a little bit of a receding, just a tad. But you know, it's the way that I position the my hair. But it's really funny. Oh, hey, Pokemon Classic. How are you doing today?
Oh, nice.
How
What's
are
going
you
on?
doing today? Do you guys check out Pokemon's Classic? His channel is excellent. I really like
Excellent channel.
the exactly. But what are your thoughts if PSA raises the prices significantly when they reopen?
Good
Then the meter
question.
will move on the cards that the people did send in because the cost will be higher to grade. Oh, that's a good question.
So there's like this. So first of all, I fully believe that when PSA reopens, which I don't know how it's going to be July 1st, but if it is, I don't think there'll be the ability to grade a card for below $50. That's what I think personally. I think those lower tiers might come back. But at the end of the day, if PSA can grade 10 cards at $50 instead of 50 cards at $10, they're going to go with the lower input as long as the demand's there for their service, right? And when the boom starts to wane away, they'll just introduce those lower tiers again, and people will start to fill that gap. That's what I think. Then I think what Island Hustle is saying, and maybe they can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's like kind of this theory that like if PSA raises grading costs to $50, then like is there this floor put in on graded cards because of what the cost is now to put a raw card in a slab? I don't think that theory holds because it doesn't account for rarity and like supply demand. Like it's more of an arbitrary number. Like I had a startup tell me the other day that they valued their company based off of the percent of their company they gave away for services rendered by like an attorney. And I was like, that's like an irrelevant factor in this. It doesn't mean anything about the value you have. So when it comes to cards, I don't think that like necessarily the cost of grading at any point in time in history is going to put in a floor for like what slabs could cost. Like an unlimited dugong does not have a $50 floor just because it costs $50 to grade it. I do think there's like a lot of interesting things happening in the raw card market because of these price changes. And I think for serious long-term collectors, you get some opportunity there to potentially buy raw cards that people can't afford to grade anymore. We got to be careful because they're trying to sell them for ridiculous prices, in my opinion. What do you think? Is that how you read this question?
I do. I do. I think it also depends on how educated the people are that's sending the cards, right? If people still think Pokemon's going to the moon, right? They'll pay the cards regardless of what
Right.
the price is, right? If they think, okay, I got a $50 card, the card that it comes back a PSA 10, it's gonna be 5,000 or 1,000. They'll still risk the price. I think it depends on how knowledgeable and how educated the buyers at that point. But hopefully when their
Mm.
cards come back and they said, you know what, I'm probably not making any money, then yeah, it will stop. I really think it depends on how educated people are at that point, not just out of sport cards or just basically, PS for Pokemon. But this is what I'm talking about. Pokemon. It depends on how knowledgeable and how educated they are at that point. Because I think new collectors, they come in, they're like, okay, I can make money in this card, this card, this card. But I'm like, but they will see. Experience is the best way, and the best teacher, Dwight Schrute.
Best teacher, that's for sure. Yeah. A
How's
lot of
it
people are
that
going to
right
make a
time
lot of
about Bellsprout? Do
mistakes.
not Bellsprout, you guys. Just want to. Oh my God, it's almost 3 hours. I did not even know that. I want to be respectful of your time. Let me know. Let me know.
It's we can go a little longer if you like. We can see what everyone's bringing up.
Yeah. I think let's do another
There's a
20
best
minutes, you
question.
guys. I'm gonna take my break because I gotta start another
Sounds good.
stream. So I'm pretty. It's 20 minutes.
gosh.
Bellsprout King. Oh, we are talking on Facebook. I'm gonna invite him on. The Bellsprout King. Thank you, Ryan Rush, to introduce me to Bellsprout King. I didn't even know
That's awesome.
somebody could intentionally like Bellsprout. That's what I meant. I do not like Bellsprout. I do not like Bellsprout. Yeah, LeBron's. Oh, I Hustle really do not like LeBron. Yeah. Kind of interesting the other grading companies would do when PSA comes back.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think I mean, I like CGC, so that's I'll just put that out there. Like, I really enjoy them. I like coming from sports. Like, I always liked Beckett, but now, like, in my opinion, Beckett's a freaking black hole. Like, they might be getting it together, they might not, because their website's from 1987. And you have no idea what's going on with your cards when you're there. I have no confidence I'm ever going to get them back. I have no idea what's happening. Versus other companies where they get checked in, there's a better process. The submission forms are a lot better. Like, it's insanity over there. And they just closed down. If you didn't see, Beckett closed down effective June 9th, I think. So but I like their slabs.
They are nice. I
Thomas
do like
likes CGC too.
I do. I do like it better. So I'm going to let you guys know the next stream we are giving away. Well, we're doing battling, right? It's free to enter. About I forgot how many packs I got, but one winner is going to walk away. Exactly.
Nice.
And we got some pre-release kits I got. Anyways, I'm pretty interested. I'm really, really excited. And just to let you know something real quick. So I don't know if F and W it's not here, but I did a bunch of pre-orders on EV Heroes, right? And I did about like 300 boxes. Anyways, it cut
300.
It got 300. It got cut in it's like 50 boxes for one guy that I know. So I went on the weekend and I pre-ordered a different price. He said, due to the popular demand, this is on the 29th or 28th. Oh, I forgot. It was on a Sunday last week. So he's like, due to the popular demand, it's going to go up in price just a little bit. I said, okay. I think $10, $18. I went to pick up those boxes. $220 a box.
A box?
A box.
No.
Distributor's
Did you
price.
buy them?
No way. I walked out. I said to him, look, I get it. It's popular.
You can go on the internet. I can go on a website right now and buy them for $110.
No, this is the first. This is the first week, right, in the United States.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why it's
which is crazy because
right. 220, and I'm like,
I literally ordered it on Monday and it came yesterday.
There you go. Great. There he is. There's F. Yeah, I was messaging. I said, I'm on the way. Pick it up. And I told him. I said, hey, they pulled a fast one on me. They raised up the price. I thought it was like $10, $15, and I was like,
pulling up
wow. And I went and picked. I'm like, due to popular demand, having it the first week, the first second day. $220 a box. And okay, if you want that, we have about 20 of it left. Do you want to pay? I'm like, oh, no way. I walked out and I told him, I said, you'll never have me as a customer ever again. Ever.
I ordered 2 boxes.
Ever again.
I ordered 2 boxes on the 28th.
You want it the first week?
For $110 a piece.
When did it come?
what's today? Came yesterday. So I ordered on the 28th, which was what, last Friday or Saturday, and it came yesterday, which was Friday, straight from Japan.
So it was
like
that
people are
is
nuts
too. But that was
nuts
crazy that
I do
they
think
Mhm.
yeah, I was gonna say, I do think like this set for a modern set has the ability to be like incredibly iconic in the long term. Like I will be keeping a Pokemon one. Have you seen the Pokemon Center boxes? The ones that have like 2 booster boxes inside of it. They're kind of like really ornate looking. They're cool. Like I will keep one of those sealed in my collection for sure. Both because I love evolutions and because I think it could be interesting longer term. But people got to realize, like what we mentioned before, like they're printing this to demand. There's going
Yeah,
to be
I
a
think so
lot of
too.
this. A lot of it will be opened, right? Because Squeaks did a pretty good analysis. Obviously it's the best you can do in a very, there's so many variables that go into it, but how low the pull rates are for the best chase cards, like people are going to rip tons of this. And there's going to be a lot of demand. And I think over time, because Eevee is such an iconic Pokemon, it will be very loved, especially from my experience so far. Putting together a binder already has been awesome. Like the commons are amazing. The VMAXs are amazing. Like it's a beautiful, like it's the most I've enjoyed opening something in a really long time. But those prices are insane. Like people
Yeah,
got to
it was
realize,
220,
yeah,
and they're like,
Hefe is
you're
like
a
4
consumer.
boxes for 400. Yeah,
They're like,
StockX probably.
but StockX does take a little bit while because they got to set a StockX and get to you.
Yeah,
But
it comes
they're
from
like, well,
Japan, and
they're
yeah.
like, but you know what? When you do your box break, your consumer can pay for it. They can get the first card that's graded. They can sell. I'm like, dude, once PSA's closed, okay, grading companies close. Like really? Like really? They're like, well, it's a great investment. I'm like, I just walked 220 bucks for the first week. They're like, the buyers can be the first to put it on the market. I'm like, I'm out of here. Out of here.
Crazy.
220.
Well, because that's
That
what
was
people do.
nuts.
Someone will
Yeah,
pull the
that's what they
Umbreon
do.
alt art and they'll do a walkthrough at
Mhm.
PS or whoever's open. I guess PSA's walkthrough and Beckett walkthrough, whatever. And then they'll put it on the market and charge $10,000 for the first black label or PSA 10, whatever, Umbreon alt art.
Yeah.
And then the next one will sell for like $500. And that person's left holding the bag. And it just goes back to irrationality. It's artificial scarcity. That's what it is. It's
I
artificial
thought it was
scarcity.
nuts, And I said, look, don't get me
Crazy.
wrong. I'm very transparent when I do my box break. I do tell them I do make a profit. But for 220
Yeah.
a box, you got to be kidding. I have to charge like way more. Like, get out of here. I thought it was really
No.
nuts. But anyways, they eventually called me back and I said, no, you lost me as a consumer. I'm done. That was a bad one that you've moved. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to cut the question down to a couple more and then I'm going to set up the giveaway and
Nice.
pick a hashtag, please.
Ooh.
Hashtag.
Hashtag Eevee.
That's it. That's an easy one. Not yet, you guys. Not
Yeah.
yet. I've learned I have to log in. But before you guys do, before I do, I'm gonna give it to you for final thoughts. Actually, there is a question here. And
Oh, let's
before
get
you
it.
go, let's go here. I know that's very greedy. I agree. Beckett's scary. There's membership. Okay,
Yeah, it's
there
insane.
you go here. While you answer this, I'm gonna set up for the giveaway, okay?
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean that's a fair point. Like, they can only keep printing something for so long, especially with Japan, because it is a smaller economy and a smaller production level than the US. I think all I'm saying to that is like they are going to make it a point to print an excessive amount of this from the get-go. So I just think that the prices that people are paying for these boxes are a little FOMO-y, and I think it's just like important to, be patient. Like maybe you buy one box at a certain price point and know that like hopefully later you can get it lower. Like just be careful, like because it sucks to like overpay for something, even if you're enjoying it. Like if it's in your budget, it's okay, but then you have less purchasing power for more down the road, right? If you buy 2 boxes at 150 each, but they go to 100, you could have bought 3. You could have had a whole nother box, right? So you got to be careful with that. The first McDonald's cards and slabs were insane. Yeah, like that made like he who must not be named in the hobby putting out like the first ever graded one. Like that was just so annoying. It's just absolutely awful. Do these trolley cicada? I haven't had the cicada problem yet, but I did hear they're coming back. Highly blessed. Great show, guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been really fun to be here, guys. This is awesome. I've never done a live like this before. It's been super great. Buy the Eevee rookie card from Jungle. Yeah, first appearance. Jake from Pokenomics is really big on that little first appearance. I pulled that card out of a Japanese jungle pack. I am grading it with Beckett right now. Hopefully it'll come back by 2025 because Beckett's a black hole. But I do like the slabs. I don't know if you guys haven't ever held a Beckett slab. Like it's very thick, very high quality. It makes PSA feel like very flimsy, but I still think CGC is the best of the bunch when it comes to the slabs, and they've upped the quality a lot. So, hey, thank you guys for being here.
All right, well, I'm back. Let's go through your final thoughts. All yours.
Nice. Wow. Well, look, I would say at the end of the day, first and foremost, above and beyond anything else, collect what you love. Enjoy this hobby, enjoy the things you're passionate about, but remember that it's just it's just a material item, right? So remember that like the experiences you get to have around this, the trips you can take, the travel you can do, the friends you can meet, the relationships you can build in this hobby, they're going to last far beyond any of the items you might have in your collection. So just remember to keep those at the forefront. Treat people really, really well. It will come back to you, I promise. Be kind to people. Just enjoy those relationships you can build in this hobby because it's really unlike a lot of other things out there. And I would just say that, again, protect yourself, try to make the most educated, decisions you can make, whether it's an investment or just a purchase or something for your collection. And please feel free to reach out anytime and ask me a question. I always respond to my DMs. I am no big social influencer. I'm just a random dude in his late 20s, almost 30, who loves Pokemon and loves finance and just wants to help people make a little bit of a better decision when they're buying their collectibles. So I really appreciate the time. This has been super fun.
Well, thank you for coming. I definitely do not want to miss this question because I want to know myself too.
SGC. I don't know. I don't like how they look. That's all I would say. I've never actually owned one. I think one of the Charizards that sold in the late fall, early winter was a CG or SGC Charizard. I thought Pratt bought it. I could be wrong there. That's just something I've always thought, but I just don't like how they look. They have that like white and black label. I'm not the biggest fan. Yeah, those are some of those there on the left-hand side. They did opposite of everyone else. They dropped their prices because they caught up with demand, allegedly. It was quite interesting.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I really don't like that ancient Mew card, but it does kind of look cool in one of those.
It does. Yeah, it kind of does.
I hate that card. I'm sorry. That's my least favorite card in the entire hobby.
Oh, there you go. We'll stop it. Oh, thank you so much for being here, Rock Pokemon. Thank you so much. We're ending it soon, you guys. So this is the giveaway that I'm gonna
do that giveaway.
So in honor of Eevee, let's go. So, okay, you guys, for the next stream, remember, we have, I think these are 21 packs. We're giving this away for the next stream. Okay, so battlers are welcome. You guys gotta hop onto the next stream, okay? I got some of these, and it's gonna be a Celebi and a full art Celebi, and of course, a cute Japanese Eevee. Okay, you guys, all you do is to
Whoever
enter.
wins,
It is. What?
DM me and I'll throw in one of these too. This is
Wow, that's so
I
cool.
really like this promo. So
Charmander.
enjoy this. You can open it if you want, but it's a really cool Charmander. It's a cool Mewtwo coin. So yeah, I'll throw this in too. Just DM me, whoever wins.
That is a nice giveaway. All right, you guys, all you do is just to answer, just to type hashtag, hashtag Eevee.
Hashtag
And that's
Eevee.
That's it, you guys. And let me share my screen real quick.
Here we go.
Oops, that's the wrong screen. There you go. How many entries do we have? Make sure to spell it correctly. We only have 1 entry so far. Okay.
1 entry.
Hashtag Eevee. It's gonna 5. There you go, you guys. Hashtag Eevee. It's shipping anywhere, you guys. It's not a giveaway if you have to pay for shipping. So I'm a firm believer in that.
True.
Good luck. Hey, Robert, how are you? How are you? F. I still have F. Oh my God, we have Z, we have F and W collectibles. Dima's not here, but I would be shocked if F and W wins again. I still have your winnings, so I need to ship it out on Monday, you guys. So we have how many entries so far? Just 13, 14. We'll give another 10 seconds. Coffee. Woo! I'm so excited for the next stream. I'm gonna go, feed my cats, get them more drink, and we are gonna stream tonight. I wish I had all the time. I sit on this. Oh, it's okay, highly blessed. I still haven't shipped your items. I'll just let you know. So I will ship on Monday though. But all right, you guys, I'm gonna give it another 10 more seconds. And you guys, and that's it. Give me your luck. I agree. 10 more seconds, you guys. All right. By the way, thank you so much for doing this. I'm pretty excited. I'm thinking about asking about Pancake to get on.
Oh yeah.
Good luck. Yeah.
That'd be
pretty
awesome.
Excited for that.
He's
and
great.
it's all Jessica. And I will be on Jessica's podcast again. I was on there. I guess didn't record. I want to be back there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited, you guys. All right, you guys.
I caught a lot of it live.
Nice.
Yeah. Here we go, guys.
Nice, Mike. I think Mike has won twice, right? This is your second time, right, Mike? Very nice. So let me put it on there. Hey.
All right, Mike. DM me.
Mike.
I wrote down your name.
Mike. All right, you guys. Let me go here. Mike, let me actually write down before I forget myself as well. One second.
Awesome.
Woo! What a stream. Okay.
That's a great win. That's a great card. The one I was just talking about. The first appearance. Literally, that's the first ever Eevee ever. Well, other than Top Sun and all that stuff, which we didn't even touch on, but the first TGC Eevee. TCG Eevee. So
I am exhausted. Man. I got to open all these Eevee heroes.
Me too.
Mike, thank you so much for coming here, and I will.
Thanks, PokeGal. Appreciate it.
Sent you a message over Facebook. Perfect. We are friends on Facebook anyways, so I know it's you, Mike. There you are. All right, you guys. First time winner. Really? It's a first time winner. Oh, excellent. I did not know that. All right, you guys. I will catch you guys on the next stream. And
Bye,
hey,
guys.
Connor, keep
Thank
in touch,
so
okay?
much.
And I'm going to let my final thoughts,
Thank
and then we'll go from there.
so much.
Bye-bye.
Sounds good. See you.
Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. Okay, you guys. So we're going to open some Eevee Heroes coming up. I think let's give me about 30 minutes. We'll start at 9:30. I'm going to do the pre-orders first. And whoever doesn't catch on, what? Mike Jones. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. No problem. Thank you, you guys. You guys like it, do like and subscribe. We are going to give away, I think, 21 packs. Well, yeah. That's it. We're going to do that in the next stream, and we're going to do some giveaways, and we got some Leonardo decks. Cool. Give me about 30 minutes. I'll see you guys at 9:30. It's going to be a long stream afterwards. I'll see you guys soon. I think it's an excellent stream. And you guys asked great question. I really think it was really great to talk to a certified financial planner. Anyways, we always want to end the stream as not legal advice or not financial advice. And just again, all right, you guys, I'll see you guys in 30 minutes, okay? 9:30. Bye, you guys.